Dragon Ball Apprentice Angel Chapter 101-120. Chapter 101 Using the Realm of the True God as a Bet. Hoo. Brawly was breathing heavily, his breath seemed a little unstable. It's not that Brawly doesn't have much energy, it's because he didn't transform. If he was upset if he transformed, Brawly believed that he would torture this rabbit into a roast rabbit in minutes, and Krut was dumbfounded. Sabi is dumbfounded. "'Tis broke, lost. How could this be so close? Almost. If Tispo persists, he might be able to defeat this Brawly. You are really embarrassing for me. Look, you have to give me the scepter, I'm embarrassed." Even though Roger said so, he still walked forward without a trace, and put away the two's scepter. Although Seba and Keter didn't want to give it to him, there was no way to do it now, so he had to take a risk. It hurt to watch Roger take his scepter away from his hand. Roger stuffed the two's scepters into the different space. Krutwu forced Sabe to be sluggish. "You take the scepter so fast. That's our scepter. Are you embarrassed? The next game, there is no need to continue, we have already won 2 matches. Roger smiled and said that since this is the case, I will take them back. After Roger finished speaking, he made a gesture to go. "Cough, don't worry, I have a suggestion." Shubei hurriedly greeted that the game is over, and I also arrived at the scepter. "You guys are too polite, come all the way over and I'll invite you to dinner," said Roger. Don't be in a hurry to eat, and laugh, look at Roger, the remaining 2 people can't be idle, right? Or, let them also compete. Sabe is talking about Toppo and Vegeta. With 2 wins, Roger has 1. Is that necessary? Roger shook his head. What a boring thing to watch them play. We can use the realm of straight gods as a lucky draw. Sabe gritted her teeth. Sabe. Krut pulled Sabe aside and set up a barrier to prevent Roger from hearing that. Of course Roger would not listen, there was no need for that. "You are crazy, Sabe. You dare to use the realm of true gods as a lucky draw. I can't even think about it." Krut shouted. "Krut, do you think we still have an advantage in the realm of the 2 of us today?" they asked in a hurry. "I don't want to admit it, but I have to say that Roger is a genius at this." Krut sighed slightly. "So, each of us gave up 10 points to the realm of straight gods and went to bring the angel scepter back. What do you think?" Sabe looked at Clute and asked. "What you say, seems to make sense." Krut thought about it seriously. It's really feasible anyway. In the field of straight gods, he and Sabe have already been used by Roger. If you want to catch up, it's difficult. Because you are improving, so will Roger. He practiced 30 years more than Roger, but he was still caught up. At least Clute no longer had any hope of surpassing Roger in the realm of true gods. At least, in the last 10 years or so, there is no drama. Maybe we can surpass him in the future. Therefore, one person took out 10 points of the real god's realm as a pig's bet, and won the scepter first, and then he could not guarantee that the great priest would make a new scepter for himself and Sabe. If there is no scepter in the future, Kazent will fight. A gimmick. Okay, I agree. Krut struggled for a moment, nodded solemnly, the 2 untied the barrier, and walked to Roger's side with a smile. "Roger, the 2 of us have already negotiated, each of us will take out 10 points of the real god's realm, how about adding a show?" Shubei suggested. "Bardock, Brawly, Begum, we're back. Roger is too lazy to pay attention to his 10-point true god domain, what are you begging for?" Roger said. The scepter in his hand has already flashed a flying cube out of thin air. Sabe is anxious. "Why are you leaving?" "Don't worry." "Roger, why are you leaving?" "Don't go." Krut is also very anxious. "Why don't you let you go?" Roger asked. When he said this, he looked like he was going to touch someone. "Jump, can't help but go backwards. Clute can't beat Roger." "We certainly didn't mean that, Roger." Luo stepped forward with a laugh and persuaded, "You must think that a total of 20 points in the true god domain is a bit low, right? It's all negotiable, I like to deal with smart angels before leaving." Roger nodded with satisfaction and said sternly, I won't be embarrassed anymore. You two will give 100 points of the real God field as a lucky draw. I may consider playing with you again. Of course, even if you play together, I have to be good. Think about it. Do you think I'm stupid? Let you win back the scepter you finally won. 100 points in the real God domain. Sabe and Clute's dangerous discoloration. How dare you? The two looked at each other, a little hesitant. 00 points in the realm of straight gods, really high enough. You can think about it from different perspectives. Transferring the true God domain requires consumption. If the two of you lose and pay 200 true God domain, the most I can absorb is only 100 points. Roger analyzed, as you said just now, if one person took out 10 points in the realm of the gods, I only absorbed 10 points in the realm of the gods. Do you think I, Roger, are so short of 10 points in the realm of the gods? Sabi stopped talking. Kazent was also silent. Come to think of it, 10 isn't much. Roger, give us 2 minutes, we two have a good discussion. Sabe said no problem. Roger nodded, however, I advise you to just accept it as soon as you see it. Stop playing, the real God domain is hard-earned. Didn't he just lose a scepter? How big is it? After waiting for the last 100 years or so, if the great priest is in a good mood, maybe he will give each of you a handle, and you still have a chance. Clute. Isn't it just a scepter? How big is it? You are really standing and talking without back pain. How many scepters do you have in your hand? Can't you give us our scepter back? Of course, although the two of them thought so in their hearts, it was impossible to say that if they lost, they would lose. People don't set up barriers this time, they directly transmit voices to each other, and discuss whether to take out 100 points in the realm of straight gods. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 102 Vegeta, have you seen a Super Saiyan? Suji, I have discussed with Keat, 100 points is really too much, so let's take out 50 points of the God realm, you only need to take out our scepter. In this way, even if you win, you can also get 50 points of true God domain. Shubei gritted his teeth and said to Roger seriously, at 50 points, you can expand 50 galaxies in the new universe at one time. You really embarrass me, and Roger sighed. Okay, let's talk about it first. What are you going to do next? Roger is going to see what these two guys are up to first. If it's for Toppo to fight Vegeta, then don't play. Roger doesn't think the current Bay Gun can beat Toppo. That's going up to find abuse. We have to play, and of course we have to play fair. Sabe smiled and explained, it's very simple, didn't Broly just win by 5 or 60? Let Toppo challenge Broly and Vegeta next, how about a pair? This is very fair, eh? Roger looks hesitant on the surface. Roger, you see, both of them are here, why should they have to come to a game? And I see that Broly is still rubbing his hands, and he hasn't played a peep at first glance. Sabe laughs and encourages Bardock to not have fun, Roger thought thoughtfully. Well, actually, I really didn't want to take your scepter and give you a chance. Roger's expression struggled for a moment, then reluctantly agreed. Okay, it's settled so happily. Shubei breathed a sigh of relief. Our scepter. What? Let me fight this guy shoulder to shoulder. Vegeta is a little unhappy. I'm a Super Saiyan. I want to challenge this guy alone. Vegeta is not willing to return, but I dare not retort in front of Roger, Broly, too. I'll go first, you can just watch the show. Vegeta said to Broly. Broly nodded in agreement. Well, the game continues, the rules are the same as before, and Toppo challenges Vegapay and Broly alone. Greeted Clute, Toppo, show your straight skills. Don't embarrass me. All right, Mr. Krut. Toppo smiled confidently. Game start. Weibei shouted loudly. Broly, you give me a good show in the back to see how Vegeta cleans up this guy. Vegeta's danger hangs with confidence, and he rushes in the direction of Toppo and goes up to Vegeta, who is rushing up to the right. Toppo is a little confused. You are confident. Toppo suddenly slapped it with the palm of his hand. With a muffled beep, Vegeta was slapped to the ground at that time, and it was not polite at all, and he stepped on Vegeta's back and clicked. Then, the sound of bones shattering came from Vegeta's back. I'm sorry, I'm a bit heavy. Topo squeezed Vegeta's head and lifted it up from the ground, hoping you don't die. Topo knew that with these angels present, as long as he didn't kill Vegeta on the spot, he wouldn't be able to die. Therefore, it wasn't considered murder. He has lost the ability to fight. Topo threw Vegeta under Broly's crucian carp like a dead man, smiled contemptuously, and looked at Broly with interest. Let's fight the two of us, you can defeat Tispo. A bit unexpected. Seeing that Topo had dealt with Vegeta with 3 or 2 hits, both Chibi and Clute were clapping their hands with joy and applauding. As expected of Topo. As expected of the god of destruction. Really powerful. Make you boy jump. Broly looked down at Vegeta. One Gita C. Pyra, through the ability of regeneration, quickly healed the broken bones, and stood up in danger. You are pretty tough, Topo Wei. He didn't care, he chuckled lightly. However, even if you can recover, what can you do? Didn't you get beaten by me the same way? You have to be funny. Vegeta said coldly, have you heard of Super Saiyan? Super Saiyan, what is it? Topo has never heard of not being in the same universe. Only the ghosts know what Super Saiyan Vegeta is. The golden light blooms all over the body and becomes a Super Saiyan. The energy has also increased a lot, which is amazing. Topo Po didn't care and smiled and told you that this is Super Saiyan. You are done. You provoke the worst person. Vegeta pointed his thumb to his nose. Will this guy transform? Jinbei was also slightly startled. It's a pity that the foundation is too poor. No matter how the strength improves, it is still too different from Topo. Krut sighed. Roger didn't speak. He knew Vegeta couldn't beat Topo. Seeing that Vegeta can defeat Topo, that's a problem. Bang bang. Vegeta turned into a golden beam and flew away in the direction of Topo, and hit Topo with a burst of crazy punches and kicks. Topo is easy to deal with. Minutes later. Hoo. Vegeta was gasping for breath, and sweat dripped from her eyelids. Is it your attack? I was so disappointed. Topo shook his head and looked at Vegeta contemptuously. Vegeta trembling all over. Vegeta finally realized the gap between himself and Topo. Strong. This guy is too powerful. The strength of this person is much stronger than Frieza. Topo slammed a punch, hitting Vegeta's face directly. Vegeta let out a whimper, and flew backwards 2.2. Broly hit Broly heavily, reaching out and drawing Vegeta down. Hateful. Vegeta felt that her energy had reached its limit, but she had no choice but to do it. Broly stepped forward. Vegeta did not speak, and silently turned to Broly. Topo's expression also became serious. Someone who can easily defeat Tispo is definitely not easy. I just couldn't get enough of fighting that rabbit. This time I'm going to give it a go. Broly smiled and was happy to accompany. Torpo smiled. Boom. Broly's body expanded in a circle, and at the same time, golden light bloomed all over his body. His hair was high, and he became a super Phi. The energy in Broly is surging like crazy. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 103 Broly hanging and breaking. What? Will you transform too? Topo widened his eyes. He is also a Super Saiyan. Vegeta was stunned. No, Roger shook his head. Vegeta looked at Roger blankly. Isn't that Super Saiyan? Who are you deceiving? You are my 3-year-old child. I haven't come out yet. Is that a Super Saiyan? That's the legendary Super Saiyan. Roger smiled. Vegeta froze for a moment, a little confused. What is the legendary Super Saiyan? Wait a minute, this title seems to have been said by the father. However, forget it. Krut was even more shocked to see Broly after the transformation. Sabe's face also changed extremely hard. By the way, let me tell you one thing by the way. Before this, Broly and Bardock fought. Guess you too, who is Lee? Clute, guess your sister. Shameless angel. It's you. Bardock, you speak. Roger greeted Bardock. Broly is indeed very strong. I am not an opponent at all. Bardock is honestly saying that Clute is also speechless. In fact, the moment Brawly transformed into a Super Saiyan, the two of them could already sense Brawly's powerful energy fluctuations. The two also knew that Topo was probably going to be hanged and beaten. Roger, you are so shameless. You clearly know that your people are so powerful, but you still have to pretend that you are hesitant. After transforming into a Super Saiyan, Bu Suili rushed up quickly, facing Topo. After a minute, Topo was beaten, and the dark purple flames condensed all over his body, turning on the hand of the god of destruction. Topo brewed a wrecking ball, and bombarded in the direction of Brawly, only to see Brawly grab the wrecking ball, a hard slap with both hands. Boom! The destruction was broken by Brawly's abrupt squeezing under the gaze of Tuo Jin. Topo widened his eyes. Brawly grabbed Topo's head and slammed into the ground immediately next to the glycosides. Brawly grabbed Topo's Crucian Carp ankle and beat back and forth on the ground until Brawly let go. Topo has lost his fighting power, and he was so injured that Vegeta's lips were completely dumbfounded. Vegeta never imagined that this Brawly was so powerful. Clute gritted his teeth, condensing a group of colorful colors, which was the 50-point True God domain. Then, Clute threw the realm of the True God to Roger. Clute turned into a colorful flame and disappeared quickly. This time, it was a big loss. Krut didn't want to stay in this sad place anymore. Sabe also condensed a ball of colorful energy with a painful face and threw it to Roger. Farewell. Sabe waved to Roger, pulled the three of them, and is about to leave 7 years later, don't forget. Roger greeted Sabe's foot stagnation and almost fell. Then, Sabe turned into a colorful flame without turning his head, and quickly disappeared. Roger quickly absorbed the real God domain released by the two. The two released 50 points of True God domain, a total of 100 points. After Roger absorbed and transformed, only 50 points became his own True God domain, but Roger was very satisfied. In vain, the real God domain has increased by 50 points, which is still very impressive. Now Roger's straight God domain has reached 260. Roger held his chin, silently meditating. Am I going a little too far? Roger muttered softly. Veggie, you're going too far. Vegeta could see that Roger had won a lot of things from those two tragic guys, and Vegeta sank into the ground at that time, leaving only one head. Who asked you to answer 7 inches? Roger stared. Vegeta. Bardock secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, I didn't speak, and I didn't make any movements. Brawly was also secretly glad. Fortunately, my reaction was slow, or it would be miserable. You said, I did this, they 7 what if you don't play with me after a year? Roger has a big head, and I'm still waiting for you to send me the core of the universe in 7 years. This time, for 50 points in the real God domain, it's not worth it. Roger feels that he has to reflect on himself. Shub and Krut never imagined that Roger was troubled by the 50 points of the True God realm he obtained. This time it really sucked. The scepter is gone. True God domain also lost 50 points. The two want to cry but have no tears, they are speechless all the way. When the 8th universe was approaching, Krut in front suddenly stopped Sabe, and the bet was cancelled 7 years later. Krut sighed. Clute, the pig date in 7 years is our last chance. Sabe didn't want to give up, we will definitely win it back. Don't you even believe Jillian? Clute thought for a while, can Jiren beat that fool named Sun Wukong? Should be able to. Why don't you think about it? Clute, we underestimated the enemy. This time, we have to investigate the man named Sun Wukong. How to investigate? The scepter was lost. 793. Clute wanted to cry without tears. Sabe is also a little confused. Yes, the scepter is gone, how can this be good? I saw the guy named Sun Wukong some time ago, and his strength is not much different from that of the guy named Vegeta, not even as strong as Vegeta. Sabe pondered. You said, a guy with this kind of strength can defeat Jiren if he only gives him 7 years. Didn't Jiren practice for thousands of years? Are you sure that the guy named Sun Wukong is only about the same strength as Vegeta? Krut asked worriedly. Sure, Sabe nodded solemnly. If that's the case, even if he were given 7 years. No, even if it were 70 years, he would definitely not be Jiren's opponent. Krut replied confidently, okay, let's do it. 7 years later, we have to be ashamed. Sabe also nodded vigorously. The two waved goodbye in tears. Roger returned to Earth Brawly with Bay Gun Gun, Bardock and Brawly. Come on, do you want to stay on the planet Wampa, or live on Earth? Roger asked me. After thinking about it, I still like the planet Wampa, although the environment on that planet is relatively harsh, but I'm used to the rhythm on that planet. Brawly thought about it and decided to return to the Wampa planet. Roger, please help me build a piece of Lexus on that planet. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 104 Beerus. Whis, your temper is growing. No problem. Roger had no objection. Greeting Bardock. You wait here, I'll give Brawly Bardock a nod first. Roger took Brawly into a colorful flame, returned to the vast starry sky, and disappeared in a flash. Who is he? Vegeta couldn't help but asked. Bardock glanced at Vegeta and didn't speak. How, don't you know? Asked Vegeta. Bug or? Bardock smiled. Vayanta's expression froze. Yes, no matter who he is, it doesn't seem to be very important. His Royal Highness, I only know that he is very powerful, and he is the goal that I want to surpass. Bardock smiled slightly, looked at Robogetta and said, I believe His Royal Highness thinks the same way, right? Humph, you're right, he is the target we want to surpass. Vegeta ordered the two to stop talking. Wampa Planet. Brawly has been away for 3 days. Paragus has searched all over the planet Wampa, but found no trace of Brawly's father. I'm back. Just when Pelagus felt desperate, he suddenly heard a voice from the sky. Brawly. Where have you been? Paragus asked happily. Haha, someone took me away and went to an alien planet. Brawly laughed and went to an alien planet. Paragus was a little puzzled. By the way, father, let me show you something. What did Brawly say? Paragus was stunned. Right, this is it. Brawly has an extra universal capsule in his hand. Paragus looked suspiciously at Brawly, and then looked at the capsule in Brawly's hand. Is this kid his own son? When did this kid talk so much? Brawly doesn't like to talk. How did this happen? Also, what are you holding in your hands? Father, just press this and throw it out, you can become. Look good. Brawly said. He just threw the glue out of his hand. Right where Brawly just dropped the capsule. I saw a huge worm, opened its mouth wide, swallowed the capsule in one bite, and the capsule made a muffled sound in the worm's mouth. The worm was stunned for 2 seconds, and then swallowed the capsule into something, and then the worm was stunned for another 3 seconds. Weird food. Why is it delicious and not delicious? What's the situation? The big bug got into the solution and disappeared. Brawly was dumbfounded. Brawly, what is that? Lagas asked. That's our paradise 1-inch. Brawly was about to cry. Paradise? What are you talking about? Brawly. Paragus asked in a puzzled way. That this thing can be turned into a 33-story high-rise building. Each floor has a different style of food, enough for us to eat for 3 years. Brawly's face became more and more ugly. And, as long as we inject energy into the building will not be damaged. At least the monsters on this planet can't destroy this building. Brawly tell himself what happened. After not seeing him for 3 days, Paragus felt that his son seemed to have changed a person, and Brawly had nothing to hide, and immediately told Paragus what had happened for the 3 days. Paragus was silent. You mean, that man named Roger brought you to a planet with abundant resources? I also promise you, can you also take me to the planet called Earth? Paragus understood this time, and asked Brawly from the right. My father, after thinking about it, I still prefer planet Wampa. I already have feelings for this planet, so I asked Roger for a Lexus. Brawly nodded. What about paradise? Paragus' eyelids are black. Eaten by worms. Brawly replied. Paragus, faces darker. Another silence. You mean, we can't get in touch with Roger anymore? Paragus asked this. It should be out of contact, he can only contact us or come to us. Brawley nodded. Brawley really didn't know how to contact Roger. It seems that Roger didn't tell himself how to contact him. Of course, Brawley didn't care, and didn't ask. Brawley, Daddy has never held you since you were little, come and give Daddy a hug. Paragus looked at Brawley and said. Ah, it's not good. How embarrassed. Brawley scratched his head, ha giggling. It is said that the bugs of the planet Wampa shocked that powerful human being that day, and made his father give him a slap in the face, but he didn't dare to fight back. Roger passed the scepter, saw Brawley being hanged, shook his head, this unlucky boy. Tell you. Capsules can be eaten by insects. Aren't you smart before? Roger didn't mean to go back to help Brawley. What should be satisfied has already satisfied Brawley. Of course, when there is a need for Brawley in the future, just go to him. At least, Roger doesn't need him for the time being. It's also a good thing to keep Brawley on planet Wampa, let him practice more on planet Beerus. Whis returns to the planet with Beerus. When he saw the messy appearance of Beerus' palace on the planet, Whis covered his face and couldn't stop laughing. Hey, Lord Billuins, wake up, your palace is broken. Weiss hit Beerus on the head, who was still sound asleep. Weiss was woken up by Nord's Weiss. Weiss opened his dim eyes and shook his head vigorously. I had a dream just now, what I dreamed seemed to be. I can't remember, but it seems that I also dreamed of a Baru, who had experienced in the human world. C scratched his head. Halfway through his words, his eyes widened. Hey, my palace. Weiss, what's going on? See for yourself. Weiss used his scepter and played the recording video. How the video is stuck. Beerus saw his eyes hurt. Make do with it, why so much nonsense? Weiss glared at Beerus angrily. Weiss is tired. This new scepter has been cultivated for too short a time. It is strange that it is not as easy as the previous one, but it is strange to look at Weiss. Isn't Weiss laughing all day? After taking a nap for Mao himself, he grew stronger. Woolen cloth. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 105 Beerus, Intern Angel. What a guts. Is that rabbit who made my palace look like this? This came out. It's the Tispo of Universe 11. Weiss sighs. Why did they come to my planet? Beerus was a little puzzled and asked Roger, the intern angel of our universe, Sabe, the intern angel of the 8th universe, and Klut, the intern angel of the 11th universe. The three of them asked people to fight and chose ours planet. Weiss said the three trainee angels. How dare you? Beerus is furious. Lord Beerus, don't be angry, you can't beat them. Wes told the truth that bees watched Wes's clothes. What you said makes sense. What about my palace? It is said that on this day, Beerus personally went to the proud planet of the 11th universe of Zhao, and beat Tis to the ground, and the screams resounded throughout the planet. 10 minutes later. Roger returns to Earth. Bardock and Vegeta quickly got up. Gun, what are you still doing here? Roger glanced at Vegeta and asked didn't you let me wait here? Vegeta was stunned for a moment and I asked Bardock to wait here, I didn't let you wait. Roger is not angry with 457 feet's scolding. You think I want to stay? Vegeta snorted and Roger kicked Vegeta away. Have you figured it out? Are you planning to bring Raditz back to life? Roger looked at Bardock and asked Bardock nodding. Years ago, Bardock just wanted Shah's wife and son to live in this world. Raditz died, Bardock still regrets it. I can revive Rabans. Roger nodded and said to Bardock, how do you want to resurrect Raditz? Go to Namek to collect Dragon Balls and revive through the dragon. Bardock asked. You don't have to worry about how to resurrect. Roger laughed laughing. I have to remind you of one thing in advance, your youngest son, Kakarot, is about to die. Bardock's pupils shrank, his face changed color. What did you say? Bardock immediately became nervous. It was Vegeta who was going to kill him, wasn't it? Roger shook his head. That was. Bardock asked hastily. Kakrit has a viral heart disease, which is still in the incubation period. It will attack in about 3 months, and symptoms such as angina pectoris will appear. After half a year, there will be a big outbreak, and the Earth and even the entire universe have no medicine curable, that is to say, he can live for at most half a year. Roger tells the truth that in this timeline where Roger is, because of the relationship between himself and Bulma, Vegeta and Bulma are not together. Thus, Trunks ceased to exist. Trunks is not here. No one has come back to this era from the end to give Wukong the special medicine for viral heart disease. In addition, the time of Sun Wukong's viral heart attack was not when the artificial man appeared. Bit Trunks the times are ahead. The last time Roger saw Sun Wukong, he found out that he had had a viral heart disease and in about half a year, Sun Wukong would die. What? Bardock's amine color becomes more and more ugly. You helped me, and I can do one thing for you, bring your eldest son Raditz back to life, or cure Sun Wukong's viral heart drop, you choose one. Roger said lightly that you can cure Kakrit's viral heart disease. Bardock looked at Roger in surprise and nodded. It's just a heart attack, does that count? Not to mention heart disease, Roger can do it even if he replaces Wukong with a heart, but it just consumes a little bit of true god domain. I'm not bad in the realm of true gods. 2 good friends gave me 50 points of true god domain, how cool can Shenlong treat Kakrit's disease? Bardock asked that Shenlong is not omnipotent. I believe you already know that this disease cannot even be cured by Shenlong. Roger laughs at Bardock and naturally knows that there are many things Shenlong can't do. For example, 960 years ago, he finally got 7 Dragon Balls. He wanted to return to this era, but Shenlong couldn't achieve this wish. Fortunately, Shenlong can make people have immortal youth, and Bardock made this wish. Bardock was entangled in danger and remained silent. Raditz and Kakrit are both their own sons, and the palms and backs of their hands are full of flesh. Can I ask my wife for advice? Or I will contact you again in a few days. Bardock thought about it, but he was a little undecided. Whatever you want, but it's best not for too long. If Raditz is reincarnated, even I can't bring him back to life. Roger said. Then how can I contact my child? Bardock asked if it was trouble. Roger had no choice but to take out his scepter and smeared it gently with his hand. Suddenly, Giant's face appeared on the water ball above the scepter and he could just speak directly. Roger told Bardock to Dogin, it's me, can you see it? Bardock asked quickly. Ah, Bardock, where are you? Why did you suddenly disappear? Giant looked around. She can't see you, you can see her. Roger said, okay, don't talk nonsense, don't you know it's expensive to make a cosmic phone? Bardock had no choice but to simply tell Giant what happened here, and that was Giant. Should he revive Labangs, or cure Kakrit's heart attack? Bardock asked Bardock, they are all our sons, and I don't want to give up either. Giant bit my lip and I don't want to either. Bardock nodded. So tangled. How can this be done? Roger, why don't you let Bardock work with you for a while, and you save them both, okay? Suggested Giant. Be my servant, 100 years, or you won't talk. Roger replied calmly. Pharynx. 100 years. Is it too long? Gina's danger froze. How dare you explain it? What about our life as husband and wife? I can bring you to the earth to live. When Bardock is not needed, he can go home. When needed, he will be there with you. Roger said, what do you think, Bardock? Giant asked. 100 years, Bardock muttered. After a brief silence, Bardock seemed to have made up his mind and looked up at Roger. Any more question? Roger asked quietly. As your servant, you wouldn't deliberately insult me, would you? Bardock asked worriedly. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 106 King Yama, ask you for someone. After Bardock said this, he was directly pressed into the ground by Roger's coercion, leaving only one head, Bardock. You have no choice. Of course, you can give up a son, it means nothing to me. Said softly. Okay, I promise you. I will be your servant for 100 years. Bardock nodded solemnly, his chin knocked to the ground. You wait, Roger ordered, turn the space-time ring. Roger disappeared. In less than 10 seconds, Roger's figure reappeared. Roger threw a medicine bottle to Bardock. Bardock has already crawled out of the earth at this time. If Sun Wukong has a viral heart attack, you give him this bottle of special medicine, and he will be well, Roger said. Bright, special medicine. Bardock was stunned for a while, then raised his head and asked, didn't you say that there is no medicine on this planet to treat it? Not now, doesn't mean not in the future. Roger laughed and Bardock stopped talking. Bardock suddenly remembered that Roger could go back to the past and to the future. Roger waved his hand lightly, and the water ball on the scepter immediately changed his face, and a black-bearded uncle appeared on the water ball. Lord Yama, hello, Roger greets. Ah, who is calling me? King Yama looked east and west. My name is Roger. I went to the underworld and took Vegeta away a year ago. Do you remember me? Roger asked. I remembered. I don't know what Luotian is looking for, Shaoshan. What instructions? Roger's appearance immediately appeared in King Yama's mind. This man can't be bothered. Didn't you see that Vegeta was rolled into a ball at that time? There's a Saiyan named Raditz who hasn't been reincarnated yet, right? Roger asked you to wait a moment and I'll see. King Luo quickly responded that Bardock was dumbfounded. Is this Roger really talking to King Yama, who is in charge of the underworld? King Jian Luo actually called himself a little god. So how big is this Roger's god position? What is god? After a while, King Yama replied, in a very respectful tone, as if he owed Roger a lot of money. Luo Shen, Raditz did a lot of bad things in his previous life, and he was imprisoned in hell, and he has not yet reincarnated. Knowing his situation, I am afraid that he will be imprisoned for 1,000 years. After 1,000 years, I will consider reincarnation and I will take it away later. Do you have any opinion? Roger smiled. Of course he would not have any opinion. Luo Shenkan to come to the underworld is the glory of our underworld. King Yama hurried to Bardock. Roger just went to the underworld. Is it the glory of your underworld? King John Luo, how cheap you are. Could it be that Roger is also a god of destruction? Otherwise, why would Roger choose to let himself fight those 3 people in Destruction God Realm? Time, Bardock is a little reverie. Gone. Roger turned into a colorful flame, and rushed to the sky with Bardock. Roger rose into the sky, but he broke the void with a single eye. Soon, Roger brought Bardock to the underworld, and appeared in the middle of the sky. Luo Zhang. King Jian Luo's body is like a big mountain, and it looks very big in front of Roger. However, after seeing Roger's appearance, King Yama has to be more respectful and more respectful, for fear of giving Roger a lot of money. Finished. Luotian, Ratase has been brought out. Yam King swept towards Roger and Roger swept towards Raditz's soul. Just like when Vegeta died Qingtong, Raditz is only a form of soul, without a body. Only people like Sun Wukong who have saved a planet and done countless good things will keep their bodies after they die. Isn't this Dad? Are you dead too? Raditz also turned to Bardock a little puzzled. If you don't speak, no one will treat you as dumb. Bardock stared at Raditz and stopped talking. Then let's go, Lord Yama. Roger smiled and waved his hand. You walk slowly, welcome to guide the work. King Luo bowed and saluted. Roger ignored it, turned into a colorful flame, took Bardock and Raditz, and broke through the void. On the way back, the scepter in Roger's hand flashed with light, and when it hit Raditz's body and locked, Raditz's soul body quickly changed shape. In the blink of an eye, Raditz's body grew. Roger opens the realm of true gods again. The next moment, I saw that the golden halo on Raditz's head slowly disappeared and he was resurrected. Roger said lightly, remember, you can follow me as you go. Of course, you can also find a way to defeat me, and then you can break out of the shackles of these 100 years, provided that you have the ability to speak. The Earth has arrived. Roger left Bardock and Raditz behind and left Raditz. Naturally, he found that his body was different from before, and he observed it carefully for a while. So I'm resurrected. Raditz thinks he's dreaming. Isn't this a hallucination after being beaten in hell? Resurrection. How is this possible? After the resurrection, I also saw my father. Isn't Dad dead? Raditz is confused for a while. Then, Raditz thought of the man who had just resurrected him. This guy looks familiar. I remembered, I know him. Rabazi's face became complicated. You should know that when you were very young, I fought him, and he was also on planet Vegeta. Bardock pondered. What? I mean, when I first met Kakarot, he seemed to be beside a woman. Raditz thoughtfully. Raditz, those are not important anymore. You are resurrected now, and I will train you well to improve your strength as soon as possible. Bardock said to Raditz. Am I really resurrected? Am I hallucinating? Raditz still can't believe it. Bardock slapped Rabons hard. Huh, the pain in my face is so real. I'm really alive. Raditz is excited. Now believe it. Bardock smiled. Is this the Earth? That's great, I'll go find that kid Kakarot to settle the account. I'm going to kill him with my own hands. Raditz thinks of the situation where he was killed, and can't help but get angry. I support you. Bardock did not object. It's also a good thing to let Lebang suffer a little bit of setbacks. At least he will train well in the future. Will Dad go with me? Raditz asked. Don't go, go by yourself. Bardock laughed. Damn, there is no detector, I don't know where Kakarot is. Raditz looked around. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 107 Bados. Ruo C, my sister will give you back face. Flying in this direction, I saw a big mountain. There is a red house on the second hill of the big mountain. That is Kakarot's home on Earth. Said Bardock, go and defeat Kakarot. Great, Kakarot, you wait for me, this time there will be no more miracles. 1 inch. Raditz's face was written with confidence, and the waist-length hair fluttered in the wind. Speeding away in the direction of Sun Wukong's house. Minutes later. Raditz Noji is back with a swollen face. He was beaten so badly, when did Kakarot become so powerful? Radiz was about to cry. Forgot to tell you, Kakarot's combat power has already surpassed Frieza. What did Bardock laugh at? Raditz's sleeping hole shrank. Baozi Mountain. Was that Raditz just now? Strange. 530 inches. He's resurrected. Sun Wukong scratched his head. Forget it, just let him be. IG 764, middle. Sun Wukong suffers a viral heart attack and there is no cure. Bulma took Roger to see Sun Wukong's last look at Tianjin Fan, Bic, Dumpling, Keelan, Leping, Turtle Immortal, Jeline Immortal, Tianshan and others. Everyone who can come has come to take Wukong's home and yard. All packed. Even Vegeta was watching the fun. God, is there really no way for Shenlong? Bulma asked. No way, this virus is very rare, and the dragon can't be eliminated and cured. The god sighed and shook his head. Everyone present was sad for a while. Sun Wukong, is he going to die? Is the man who saved the earth from disasters countless times really dying? Che, naive, it's no wonder he can die. Vegeta snorted and didn't see Roger at the scene. Can Roger make Kakarot die? It seems that after 7 years, Kakarot is going to fight with a person from the 11th universe. If Kakarot dies, who will Roger go to? It's time for me to fight. Vegeta's heart rose slightly. Roger, will you save him? Vegeta saw that there was no one around. Roger leaned over and asked Bei Gun Gun in a low voice, it seems that I haven't fired you for several months. Roger looked at Vegeta and Vegeta was frightened for a while. Get away in a hurry. This place is so dangerous. It's better to stay away from Roger in the future. At this moment, a man with long hair and a long tail descended from the sky. Radiz. He's resurrected. Vegeta looks at Rabons and Roger. What? It's Raditz. Many people present became vigilant at that time. Don't be nervous, I'm here to deliver special medicine to Kakarot. I heard that he has a viral heart disease and is about to die. Raditz said with a smile, took out the special medicine, and threw it to Krillin. Take this bottle of special medicine immediately, and his heart disease will be cured. Well, that's how Raditz finished. Afterwards, without any intention of stopping, Zizi glanced at Vegeta, and quickly slipped away. Although Raditz had been practicing under the guidance of Bardock, he still improved slowly in the end. This time, it was Bardock who asked him to come and deliver medicine to Sunwashi. Bardock also wanted their brothers to abandon their hatred as soon as possible, wouldn't it be poison? Qian Ping was holding the medicine bottle, and after checking it carefully, he didn't say anything. Let the dead horse be a living horse, doctor, and immediately give the medicine to Sun Wukong. Piccolo ordered. Yes, Krillin nodded. After taking the special medicine for heart disease, Sun Wukong's painful expression gradually calmed down. Is it really effective? Krillin's surprise. Great. Leping also laughed happily. Where did Raditz sing this? Vic doesn't understand. Perhaps, no matter what, they are brothers after all. Tiantanfan guessed that Wukong is alright. Bulma also cheered. I-767, May 12th__. The androids 17 and 18 are born. After the two Su Chang, they directly killed Dr. Gero who controlled them, and then activated the android 16. However, because of the absence of Trunks, Sun Wukong and others did not know about the android. The characters of the three androids are different from those of Trunks' future androids. Although number 17 and number 18 are not kind, they are not bad people. Number 16 is even more so. He loves nature and the little things in nature. Animal. Let's go, let's find Sun Wukong. Number 17 has become the leader of the three, and number 8 and number 16 have no objection. Let's drive, it's more fun, and sometimes it's a pleasure to look for. Number 17 laughed and grabbed a passing car in the 6th universe, like the planet Pa. Sister Vados, it's been 3 years, is the time ripe? Ruosi Chun said to Vados, I have finally dealt with the matter at hand, and the timing is just right. Vados smiled and nodded. Let's set off immediately, go to the 7th universe immediately. I want to restore face for Ruosi. Ruosi felt that happiness came too suddenly. In the past 3 years, almost every 3 or 5 months, Ruosi ran over and asked Vados to go to the 7th universe to clean up Roger and give her a head start. It's just that Vados has a lot to do. And Vados also said that the time is not ripe enough. When the time is right, it's not too late to go to Roger. Silly girl, of course it's true, let's go. Vados said to go and go. With Ruosi, Vados turned into a colorful flame, broke through the sky, and went straight to the direction of the Earth in the 7th universe. What did Mrs. Vados plan? Ruosi asked. Did you beat him up in the past? Silly girl, how can an angel beat someone? It is wrong to hit people. Our angels are not born to fight. Fighting is the thing of God of destruction. Vados smiled and told Ruosi that he couldn't beat him. Ruosi whispered. 1.7 inches. Ruosi, what did you just say? Vados seemed to have heard it. I didn't say anything. Ross smiles. I heard it all. Vados was angry, and comforted. Okay, my sister won't blame you. You tell the truth, why is my sister embarrassing you? Yes, in a real fight, I may not be able to beat Roger. In fact, there are so many angels, there are very few battle angels. Oh, Roger counts as one, so do you, and Sister Vados, off topic. Ruosi reminded that Sister Yao Yaoxuan had already thought about the countermeasures, and this time, let Roger spit out everything. Vados's face showed confidence, including the scepter of Brother Weiss and Brother Myers, and the universe of Sister Roth. Sister Vados, what are you going to do? Jose asked curiously. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 108. Vados comes to Earth. You don't need to ask so many questions, you will naturally know if you praise me. Vados smiled mysteriously, and Ruosi stopped asking. The process doesn't seem to matter. The most important thing is to get everything from Roger back one by one. It's almost time to reach the Milky Way, so let's hide the Shaoshan domain first, so as not to be discovered by Roger. Vados said to Ruoros. Okay. Ross nodded. Vados's jade hand waved gently and hit the scepter with a flame of light. Immediately, the real god domain of the two was hidden. Go to Earth. Vados took Ruo-C and flew away in the direction of Ruo-Earth. The next moment, the two were suspended above the earth and silently looked at a car that was slowly moving below. Sister Vados, is there anything special about the three of them? Ruo-C asked. It seems that there is no aura on their bodies. Is it a robot? The big man was a robot, and the other two were transformed by humans, so it would be more appropriate to call them artificial humans. Vados said. Ruo-C, 15. Guess what? Where will they go next? Ruo-C shook her head. I don't want to guess. Fei Suizi. Wherever they go. Does it have anything to do with me? They will go to Sun Wukong to fight. Vados giggled, because Sun Wukong wiped out the Red Ribbon Legion a long time ago, and the three of them were created by Dr. Grow of the Red Ribbon Legion. So messed up, they are stronger than Sun Wukong, right? Ross asked. Yes. Vados smiled mysteriously, looked at Ruo-C and said, you said, if we have a bet with Roger to see who is the final winner between them and Sun Wukong, who do you think Roger will win? He will choose Sun Wukong. Last time on Namek, it was that guy named Sun Wukong who ruined our good deeds. Ruo-C pursed her lips, sullenly. Yes, I think Roger will choose Sun Wukong. Vados smiled at him. What if he chooses the android side? Ruo-C was a little worried about Sister Ruo-C. Anything should be done before class. If it's just a fight between them, don't you think there's something less? Vados looked at Ruo-C with a smile. What's missing? Ruo-C is puzzled, and thinks that my sister is very deep and mind-blowing. Can you say it directly? After the battle, it will take no more than an hour or even 10 minutes at most, and it will be completely over. Vados smiled. Besides, it's just a battle between the two of them. It's not easy to ask Roger to ask too many things as Sister Kai Vados. What do you mean? I don't want to guess, it's so tiring. Ruo-C pouting, unhappy at risk. You have something to say. What are you doing so mysterious? However, Sister Vados is doing herself a favor. Ruo-C doesn't say much. Let's go Ruo-C, let's go to the next place. Vados smiled and went to see Roger. Ruo-C was a little excited. Vados. What's wrong, Sister Bardos? Joshua asked. I see you seem very excited. Vados smiled and stared at Ruo-C. Hee. I don't know why, but when I saw Roger, I wanted to take a bite. Ruo-C gritted his teeth and Vados stopped talking. Silent for a moment. Ruo-C, you wouldn't like Roger, would you? Vados sighed. If you really like him, then you don't need those things, it's a dowry. I am my sister Vados. I am angry. Ruo-C's face flushed with anger. How could I like Roger? Even if I like women, I won't like him. Vados. How do you make me press this analogy? Well, you don't like it if you don't like it. We're not looking for Roger, though. Vados smiled. Isn't it time to find Roger now? Where are you going? After Ruo-C finished asking, she shook her head and said, forget it, when I didn't say it, you wouldn't. Told me. You'll know when you go. Vados smiled slightly. In just an instant, Vados and Ruo-C appeared in a mountainous area, and in the middle of the mountain, they saw a mysterious research institute. The research institute looks a little dilapidated, and even the door of the research institute collapsed directly. Yes. Where? Ruo-C scratched his head. Vados didn't answer, and flew straight to the research institute with Ruo-C, and found the basement smoothly, and slowly fell. Ross doesn't understand at all. Sister Vados, what are you doing? Vados then stopped in front of a large instrument with Ruo-C. Ruo-C looked inside the instrument and found that there was an insect-like creature in the instrument, which seemed to be in the embryonic stage. This little thing is a new type of artificial man created by the doctor with a computer, and it is assembled from the cells of the powerful warriors on the earth. Vados explained to Ruosi that now this little thing has the cells of Sun Wukong, Bejipe, Frieza, Kurd, Piccolo and others, and also has their energy. Ruosi nod. As an angel, there is nothing strange about this creature. Based on the current level of technology, this little thing will have to be cultivated for at least 20 years before it matures. Vados pondered. More than 10,537 years. Ruosi scratched his head, but he was at a loss. But if I injected him with a touch of the realm of true gods, he would immediately mature. Vados smiled and Ruosi didn't understand at all. Fair and just, I'm not cheating, I'm not giving this creature angelic powers. Vados smiled. A divine power emerged from the scepter in Vados' hand, and suddenly hit the instrument, and the entire instrument shook violently. Looking at Sharu in the instrument again, it also accelerated the growth rate in less than a minute. Sharu's huge body broke through the instrument and stepped out of the instrument. Kong, who are the two of you? Sharu saw the two women Vados and Ruosi at first sight, and immediately said with a dark face. Yes, but unfortunately the strength is too weak, but the strength can be gradually improved. Vados smiled, looked at Shalu with satisfaction, and said to Ruosi, Ruosi, do you think he, the android, Sun Wukong and the three, who will win the final victory? Now, the strength of this monster is not as good as those of the three androids. If it was me, I should choose the artificial. Ruosi. Think Roger will choose one side? Asked Vados. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 109. Say you like me. Unclean, but there is a high probability that Sun Wukong will be chosen. Ruosi guesses that you think we have a good chance of winning Sharu's side. Vados is hard to say again. Ruosi shook her head. It seems that you feel unsure. Vados smiled. It's true, it's not very big, but if we give him. What do you think about the cells of the cosmic hit? Hit's cells. Ruosi's beautiful eyes widened, and she said excitedly, with Hit's strength, it is possible to slaughter all the human beings in the 7th universe. If it wasn't for the face of Brother Weiss and Brother Myers, I would have wanted to take Hit for a long time. Actually, I would also choose Sun Wukong to win, but if Roger chooses Sun Wukong, then we can give this guy 5. The cells of the box have been injected into the body. Vados said his plan with a smile, but won't Roger find out? Ruosi asked, the source of Hit's cells, as long as you investigate and investigate, you will know that it is not from this universe. Don't worry, it's all under my sister's control. Vados smiled and comforted Daorosi and nodded. Hey, what are you two women whispering about there? Are you ignoring the existence of my Sharu? Sharu is so angry that his nose is crooked. What is the origin of these two women? How can I listen to what they mean? It seems that I know myself very well. Besides, why don't these two women have any aura fluctuations on their bodies? Who are they? Lu was a little confused. Forget it, absorb you, everything is clear. Sharu was too lazy to think about this issue, and as soon as the big green tail was used, he pierced Vados's body and released an invisible divine power from Vados. Only a muffled sound was heard, and Shazung penetrated the wall of the laboratory, flew out of the laboratory, and landed heavily on the ground outside. Sans spit out a mouthful of dark blue blood, not to mention how shocked he looked. Do your own thing, don't provoke us, we are very powerful. Diaresis. Vados was suspended in the sky where Sharu was, and said with a smile. Shalu got up from the ground and stared at Vados and Ruosi with a stunned expression. He was terrified in his heart. Who are these two women? Why is it so powerful? Good luck. Vados giggled with a smile. Vados took Ruosi, turned into a colorful flame, and went straight to Bulma's home 10 minutes later. Bulma looked at Ruosi and then at Vados, with a look of shock. Ruosi and Vados were both wearing angel costumes, and the sky blue light country was floating around their heads. At the same time, their hands were still like scepters. It is worth mentioning that Ruosi's scepter has been unsealed and given to her by the great priest for the past 3 years. Ruosi has also experienced it well, but the angel power consumed is very small. Are you really angels? Bulma nodded in surprise to Vados, Ruoros and Vados. In my impression, the angel is a Bulma smiling, with a golden halo suspended on his head and a pair of white wings behind him. This dress reminds me that Roger also showed this image in front of him before. Roger, is it really an angel? Human, right? The angel Miss Bulma speaks of is an ancient god on earth, not like us. Vados smiled slightly. We are the divine fruit that grows on the angel tree. The divine fruit grows for 100,000 years before it matures. Haha, and the two concepts of angels you mentioned. Didn't Roger tell you this? Ruosi asked Roger who told me. But I think he was bragging, so I didn't believe it. Bulma scratched his head. Roger, is he really a god? Is he a god who came to the human world to experience? It seems that Roger said this when he came to his house. However, he never believed it. Listen to what you just said. Roger has been in school for more than 2 years. Ruosi doesn't know what to say. You are so relaxed. Are you enough to experience life? Besides, Roger, what are you doing wrong? Did you just go to school? Don't you think studying is a tiring thing? Yeah, I won't be back until the weekend, Bulma explained, covering his lids. He said he wanted to experience the life of a student at Shuilang. Sister Vados, today is the weekend, right? Ruosi asked Vados and nodded. The figure on the crystal ball of the scepter flickered for a few moments, and Roger's voice came over. Bardos, have you come to Earth? Roger asked. Yes, at your house. Vados nodded. Ross is there. I haven't seen you for 3 years, right? Miss me? Roger asked if he wanted to chase him. Ruosi stared in anger. Great, I thought you had a crush on me. Roger nods you. Ruosi's chest went up and down. Who would have a crush on you? You are so shameless. Vados. So tired. Quantity of these 2 questions. It's a guest from afar, and I'll go back right away. Roger said hello and ended the call. Roger has not been idle for 3 years. No, it should be 2.5 years to be precise. After the Monkey King incident, Roger turned into an ordinary high school student, went to school and experienced the life of a student. All of this seems to have returned to his previous life, and even evoked a trace of Roger's past life. After more than 2 years of experience, Roger's angel power has been consumed and only the last 100 points are left at the same time. Roger's true god domain has reached a height of 265. The more the power of angels goes to the back, the more difficult it is to consume. The realm of the true gods is naturally difficult to increase. It turned out that this kind of plain life, the warmth of the world, can also consume the power of angels. At this moment, on the playground of Xingguang Middle School, Roger stood opposite Lingla Yaoshui with a scepter in his hand. Tenuo Zhao. Li Shui, classmate for 2 years and 4 months, what do you think of me, Roger? Roger asked Yao Shui to be silent and looked at the scepter in Roger's hand. Is that stick you're holding to hit me? Do you like me, Yao Shui? Roger asked. Yao Shui stopped talking. Just say you like me, I can fulfill any of your wishes. Roger urged Dao Yao Shui to cover her forehead. How speechless she was. Roger, your way of chasing girls is really unique. I am a god who came to the human world to experience. I am leaving. Before I leave, you will not say a word of love to me. Roger sighed, looking at Li Shui and asked. Yao Shui gave Roger a roll of eyes. I want to say, I'm a fairy. It's a pity that for so long, I still haven't experienced what love is. Roger sighed, and his body levitated slightly. Yao Shui froze for a moment, her beautiful eyes filled with shock. Slave. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 110 Vados. My scepter is better than Vivis's. Perhaps, I am not enough to attract girls Huan. Roger smiled. Roger's angel costume appeared, and a sky blue halo appeared on his head. Roger turned into a colorful flame, and disappeared in a flash. The school flower Yao Shui was stunned at the time. The classmates are also confused. What was that just now? Hey Roger, I like you. You come back. Yao Shui suddenly realized something and shouted loudly to Roger, who was flying in the sky. Apparently, he heard Yao Shui's voice and said he liked it now. It doesn't count. Roger smiled. Soon, Roger returned to Bulma's house. Ruosi, it's been 3 years, I really miss you. Roger wanted to go up and give Ruosi a hug, but was avoided by Ruosi with a dark face. I miss you too, I want to bite you. You are so hateful, Roger. I don't have a crush on you. Vados, first meeting. Roger nodded to Vados. Roger, hello. Vados also greeted politely, and also thanked Miss Bulma for her warm hospitality. It's nothing. You talk about Bulma and think it's not appropriate for you to stay any longer. Bulma walked away with interest after speaking. It's just that 357. When leaving, Bulma took a deep look at Ruosi, the female angel. She is so beautiful. Roger, don't really like her. Bulma suddenly felt that something was missing in his heart, and it hurt a little. Ruosi, your angelic power is depleting a bit slowly. Roger looked at Ruosi and sighed slightly. Did you only consume 100 points in 3 years? Seems like you've used up a lot. Ruosi said angrily. I still have the last 100 points left, and I'm about to achieve the perfect control of the power of the angels. Roger haha. Ruosi's face froze, her chest heaving up and down with anger. You talk so hard heart, I'm going to draw a circle to curse you. Roger, I'm here this time. I think you should know my purpose, right? Vados smiled. Is it to get the scepter of Weissenmeyer's back? I'm sorry, I've already made them into boxing gloves and armor. Roger scratched his head, a little embarrassed, and said, what did you say? Vados's pretty face changed color and suddenly stood up. You said you didn't come here earlier. I thought you didn't need it, so I rebuilt it. Roger said. From the different space, the gloves and armor emerged, and they were shown in front of Vados. Then, Vados and Ruosi both froze. Sister Vados, Brother Weiss and Brother Meyer's scepter, if we win it back, can we restore Ma Ruosi's voice transmission? Vados carefully looked right. It's okay, it can be recovered, but it will lose a little multiplier bonus, it doesn't matter. Vados replied. Ruosi breathed a sigh of relief. It can be recovered. To lose is to lose. Better than the current scepter. Roger, I'll just say it straight. Vados smiles and you can bend it. Roger nodded. Vados. Last time Roger, you and Weiss judge the winners and losers of the human battle. This time we will continue to use this as the basis to see who will win the final victory. Vados said with a smile, but human beings don't have any battles at the moment. Roger shook his head. I can't let them go to war with each other, right? That's not suitable, and it's not a life and death battle, so it's not worth watching. By the way, 3 years ago, Clute and Shubei insisted on dragging me into a game, and they lost the scepter. You say, what's the use of me needing so many scepters? As Roger said, he waved his big hand gently, and the scepter Vados of Clute and Sabe appeared. You don't have to look good, okay? Vados also heard about Clute and Bei losing the scepter, but the two of them have nothing to do with Vados, so of course Vados won't stand up for them. Of course it's a battle of life and death. Vados smiled. On the crystal ball of the scepter, the car where the 3 androids were, and the number 16, 17 and 18 inside the car were also projected. Sand in another place. They are. Roger was stunned, and asked curiously. The 4 of them are androids researched by the Scientific Corps of the Red Ribbon Corps. Vados made an introduction with a smile. As far as I know, a long time ago, Sun Wukong brought the Red Ribbon Army to a pot. However, Dr. Grow of the Red Ribbon Legion is still alive. He has always wanted to seek revenge on Sun Wukong. In recent years, he has not been idle. He has worked hard to research and manufacture new androids that can defeat Sun Wukong. These 4 androids seem to be quite powerful, and they seem to be stronger than the current Monkey King. Roger nodded and muttered. How about Roger? I wonder if you're interested in coming to play. Analysis and analysis, who is the last scoop? Vados smiled and looked at Roger. What is Vados going to use as a lucky draw? Asked Roger. My scepter. Vados replied. Inappropriate, inappropriate. Roger shook his head like a drum. You said I have so many sticks. What do I want your power school for? My scepter is stronger than Beavis' scepter, and it can provide me with 120 times the realm of the true god. Vados smiled slightly. If you get my scepter, you can completely change Myers' armor. Use my scepter to create a battle armor and give you the king of the new universe. The defense and combat power will be greatly improved. Roger looked at Vados deeply. Before coming here, Yuli Vados conducted a detailed investigation of herself. She should have also investigated the 3 androids and Shalu Roger who did not speak, and let go of the induction. Sure enough, Sharu asked Vados to come out ahead of time. Roger, don't be in a hurry to refuse, I haven't finished yet. Vados added with a smile, in addition to my scepter, I will also provide you with 200 True God domain. After you absorb it, you can at least increase your True God domain by 100 points. Sincerely. Use these for Wes, scepter, well, it's not a loss. Roger nodded vigorously. Vados. You want beautiful. Ruosi is starting to prick her teeth. Shameless. Heck, you think too much. Vados coughed lightly. Use my scepter and 200 points of True God realm for the scepter of Wes and Myers, and you give up the ownership of the new universe. Not enough. Roger shook his head. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 111 Vados, you are so beautiful. Think again. Vados smiled confidently, but he was not in a hurry. It seemed that Vados knew that Roger would say so. Vados, if you were me, do you think I need your scepter? It doesn't matter what kind of armor I use, the last king of the world. For me, the scepter is really useless. It can only be played as a collection. Suji sighed. Really Vados, you are embarrassing me and I can't agree. Roger, just say it directly, what else do you need? Vados is really smart, and he soon understood the true meaning of Luo tilde Gia. Plus the core of the 6th universe. Roger replied, perhaps you can consider that at least the core of the universe can allow the new universe to expand rapidly, but you don't need to consume the real God domain a little bit. Vados thought for a while, but there was no objection. Ruosi's heart skipped a beat, and her face changed slightly. Sister Vados, the core of our universe is sealed in Shampa's eyes, right? Is this appropriate? Ruosi hurriedly asked through voice transmission. Don't worry, we will win. Vados is so confident. How do I remember? At that time Brother Weiss also said something similar, but Ruosi was a little less optimistic. Vados glared at Ruosi fiercely. So unlucky. You have to trust your sister me. You stupid sister. Do you think your sister is as stupid as Weiss? Tell me, how exactly? Roger nodded with satisfaction, looked at Vados and asked Monkey King, Vegeta, Son Gohan, Sharu, Piccolo, Krillin, Cyborg number 16, Cyborg number 17, Cyborg number 18, Tianjin Raisem, there are 10 people in total, isn't this a very powerful scale? Vados looked at Roger with a smile, and said half of his words. Roger didn't understand what Vados was going to do, so he simply looked at her. It seems that Lepping is missing. Roger mused. Those are irrelevant characters, and if there is less, there will be less. Vados stared and continued. Roger smiled, looking at Vados. Monkey King, Vegeta, Son Gohan, Sharu, Piccolo, Keelan, Cyborg number 16, Cyborg number 17, Cyborg number 18, Tianjin Rice, who will fall? Vados smiled sweetly, showing the appearance of a little daughter, who will fall? Roger had to take another look at Vados. To say that Vados didn't come prepared, even if Ruosi Roger was killed, he didn't believe that Roger was not in a hurry to answer, but continued to stare at Vados' beautiful face and speak. Vados stared. Vados, you are so beautiful. Roger spoke. Vados, Ruosi grinds her teeth aside. Who do you think looks good? Is Sister Vados good looking? Okay, I'm okay. No, we both look good. Roger you hate, you dare to molest my sister. Time, Ruosi thought about it a lot. Speak nicely. Vados covered his face, It's no wonder that Weiss felt head scratching. It's a problem, Vados. You use the space-time ring to go to the future, right? Roger looked at Vados and asked if he did. Vados hastily denied. Been to the future? Non-existent. How could my sugar angel Vados cheat? I really haven't been to the future. Vados saw that Roger didn't believe it, and continued, I never lie. I've been there, and I haven't been there if I've been there. Whether I've been there can be verified. Moreover, even if we have actually been to the future, our timeline may not be the same as the future timeline, because my appearance has changed the calendar. I am not at ease, so I will check it out. Roger says go. Roger turned into a bright colorful flame, and disappeared in a flash. This kid, why don't you trust people so much? So hateful. No wonder Ruosi always gritted her teeth when she saw him. Madame Vados, I'd say he's disgusting. Ruosi said angrily. Huh, it's interesting. In fact, my sister is quite a naughty child like Zhao Huan. Vados gasped and giggled, not looking very angry. This angel has been cultivating for thousands of years, how can he let a single question mess up his mood? Keeping an optimistic and positive attitude is what an angel should do. Vados took a sip of the drink, and there was a smile on the beautiful guest face. Sister Vados, have you really never been to the future? Ruosi asked Ruosi in a low voice, how could my sister cheat? I've never been there. Vados nodded 10 minutes later. Roger is back. Roger investigated, and sure enough, Vados has not been to the future. It is also very easy to investigate. Just go and check the space-time ring of the King of God to see if there is a branch in the future, or if there is a new timeline now. It can be seen that ask for flowers. Haven't been. Vados, you're an honest girl. Roger nodded earnestly. Vados. Ross, so are you. Roger said. You don't need to praise me. No use. Joss humming. Vados. Silly sister, is he complimenting you? Vados glared at Suji. I'm thousands of years older than you call me a girl. Huh, don't say it, the girl's name is also very nice. Also, my sister made you bully stupid. No, my sister is stupid from the beginning, but since she came to the 7th universe, she is even more stupid. Could it be that the power of angels is too high to make angels stupid? That's not right, isn't Suji's angel power the highest? Vados thought for a while, and then stopped bothering with Roger. I am a positive angel. Speaking of which, some people have been to the future last time. Vados looked at Roger with a smile. Don't turn the corner and talk about me. I have been to the future, but the future I went to has changed the timeline. Before Weiss made a bet with me, he should have investigated it. He is not that stupid, replied Roger. Vados is a little tired. Not to mention, Vados thinks Weiss is really stupid. After Wei Ya got the new scepter, Vados contacted Vados alone and asked Vados if he had seen if Roger had been to the future. Vados said no. The reason why there was no investigation was also because Weiss felt that it was impossible for Roger to go to the future, and he tended to underestimate the enemy. C went to investigate the time when Roger had been there. Weiss saw that when Sun Wukong was about to become a Super Saiyan, Roger actually let Krillin resurrect Sun Wukong and failed to transform. Then, he was tortured to death by Frieza. What the hell is this? Weiss was a little confused. However, to lose is to lose. Weiss didn't bother about it anymore. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 112 won't be played to death. Still have questions? Roger. Vados smiled and pointed to the right when Roger took the time. Indefinitely. They are all human, and they will all die of old age. Roger Dobardos. In less than a month, they will meet and fight. Vados smiled and said, now let's talk, who will fall? Of course, the resurrection doesn't count. If you say right, you will get 1 point. If you say wrong, you will deduct 1 point. Finally, compare the points. Whoever has the highest score wins. It's as simple as that. The remaining 2 people are still alive, then you are 1 point. Ruosi raised a Vados sigh. Silly sister, do you still use an example? Of course, you can also keep silent and choose no one, which counts as 0 points, so that if the other, 590, square is a negative score, you win. Vados smiled. You come first, Roger. If you keep silent and choose no one, I have to make a choice. Moreover, if you choose, I will definitely be different from you, avoiding the phenomenon that we are equal to the greatest extent. Are there any additional regulations? Roger asked. For example, are anyone other than 10 of them allowed to fight? It depends on the normal development of the event. For example, someone rushed into the battlefield without our guidance, then it is a normal phenomenon. Vados has already made the layout, and said to Roger with a smile, Roger, we are all angels, whether it is the person or thing we set up, you can tell at a glance. In other words, from now on, we will be treated as transparent as possible. Vados added, this time is different from Namek. You don't have to be invisible anymore, Roger. It seems that you have considered it very well. Roger smiled, okay, let's just have fun. All right, then it's a deal. Vados was full of laughter. Don't worry, before I start, I will remove one person and replace it with Lepping. Roger muses who? Vados froze for a moment and asked. Cyborg 18. Roger rode. Oh, Vados gave Roger a deep look. Why did he take out number 18? How will this woman's existence be affected? Time. Vados is a little confused. However, Vados was embarrassed to ask Roger why he did this. Ruosi didn't have any embarrassment and asked me directly if I liked her. Roger smiled. Vados Ross. Forget it, whatever you want, just get rid of it. Vados is so tired to believe that you have a crush on the android number 18. Sister Ruosi is clearly prettier than that android, isn't she? There is also this angel, who is also beautiful as a flower, and who is not good for you. Would you like an artificial human? However, the existence of number 18 is a bit crucial to this game. In order for Sharu to become a complete body, he must absorb the androids number 17 and 18. Vados said something. Sharu can still evolve. Roger showed a sudden realization. Of course, it can evolve, but it doesn't matter, so Sharu can't become a complete body. Vados smiled slightly. Nevertheless, even if he only absorbs number 17, he can hang and beat all the people, and he can't make a complete body. Roger pondered. Yes, Vados, you consume a little of the real god domain, let Shazung absorb Lepping, and you can also become a complete body. It is equivalent to absorbing number 18, it is an effect. Vados. I know you can do it, Vados. Roger said that Vados covered his face and was a little tired. Yes, she is an angel. It is true that she can change a person's physique, but it can only be a short-term change, but it is a large amount of true god domain that needs to be consumed. Although the consumed true god domain can be replenished, it will take time to recover, so there is no need for that. Vados shook his head. Forget it, I don't really like bad fights. Roger got up. Bulma, see off Sister Vados. Jose is anxious. You've been planning this for so long, why did you reject Roger for such a trivial matter? Sleeping sister. Roger is trying to get rid of it, okay. Don't want to get the core of the 6th universe. He doesn't want my scepter. Yes, I agree. Vados sighed and added, but even I can't permanently change a person's genes, but it can still be done by disguising for about a month. As said, let the man named Lepping have the physique of the android number 18. Including eternal energy and strong fighting power. Come on. Roger nods. Now, can you say your choice? Vados smiled. Let me tell you. Roger nodded and began to say names. Vegeta, Son Gohan, Piccolo, Hyuan Robot number 17, Tianjin Fan, 5 of them. You mean, 5 of them will fall, right? Vados asked with a smile. No, the 5 of them will stay, but the 5 of them will die. Roger said, okay, talk about your choice, Vados. Only Sharu was alive, the rest were all killed. Vados said his choice. Roger laughed. This choice of Vados is in his expectation. Shalu is indeed very powerful, especially after becoming a complete body, it is so powerful that there is no limit. Vados can have this choice. It should be because he sees the huge potential in Shalu. So, I am going to transform Leping now, you go bring it out on the 18th. After the transformation, I threw Leping into the team of androids, and after letting number 17 and number 16 see him, they saw number 18 instead of Leping. Vados said with a smile. 14 inches wears Shah. What does he look like when he wears Leping? Ruosi asked. Of course, he was the 18th, otherwise how could he complete his complete body? Vados thinks her sister is so stupid. So what happened to Sun Wukong, Bei Gungan and others when they saw Leping? What did it look like? Ruosi asked curiously. It's still Leping's appearance. Let Keelan and Tianjin Fan also look like number 18. Anyway, they both exist with soy sauce, so it doesn't matter. Vados smiled. Chaos, the more chaos the better, so that conflicts can occur as soon as possible, and then fight quickly. Roger, what's your opinion? Sure enough, women play harder than men. This kid. I just said it casually, I didn't expect you to be the protagonist. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 113 number 18, believe it or not, I'll spank you. No comments, let's go. After Roger finished speaking, he turned into a colorful flame and quickly swept in the direction of the 3 androids. The 6th universe, destroying the gods. Shampa rubbed his eyes. Strange, why my eyes are a little uncomfortable, like Pa thoughtful, looking up to see that Tianbatos and Ruosi were not idle. They immediately appeared in a mountainous area. A man with a dangerous scar was cultivating, Yishui bombarded with 1 foot, very in place, with endless momentum. Is he Leping? Rose looked down. Go down. Vados nodded slightly. The 2 fell from the sky and landed directly opposite Leping. Leping got nervous. Especially after seeing that the other party was a beautiful girl, Leping's heart was pounding, and his face turned red, but soon, Leping realized that these 2 girls were flying. Moreover, there is no trace of breath fluctuations on their bodies. Who are they? Leping's nervousness and excitement from the beginning to the vigilance now. Leping, you don't have to be afraid, we are here to help you 15. Vados asked Leping to help me. What's the meaning? Leping was stunned. Leping, you are an excellent fighter, but let me tell the truth, compared with your classmates, even the bald Keelan, you are far behind. Am I right? Vados' laughing dad asked Leping if he was dangerous. What you said is so true. There are people who are stronger than you in Tianjin Rice. Vados said a name again, and Leping's face was even darker. I don't hit women. But, you Smurf, you are too deceiving. Not to mention Monkey King, Vegeta and others, even the 7-year-old Monkey King, you are far from an opponent. Vados smiled slightly. Of course, there is a person you may be able to beat. His name seems to be Dumpling. Leping's face changed from black to cloudy, and cold sweat fell. After all, I can only make dumplings, right? But Leping thought about it carefully. It seems that what this woman said is reasonable. Leping feels that he is really sad. After so many years, he is almost at the bottom of his existence. I once dreamed that one day, I would like to become the strongest human on earth. Leping sighed in his heart. Are you here to insult me? Leping's face has turned green. I'm here to help you. Vados smiled. Help me? How to help me? Leping was slightly startled and asked to help you improve your strength and let you surpass Monkey King and Bei Yanta. How about that? Vados smiled. Why should I believe you? Leping frowned. Sister Vados, why are you talking nonsense with him? Ruosi got a little impatient. She kicked Leping and flew out. After Leping stopped, his head tilted and he fell softly to the ground. Vados. He's dead. Vados covered his face. Is he so weak? Ruosi Rui changed color and was about to cry. Sister Vados, me. I really didn't mean to. If it had been put on hold 3 years ago, Ruosi would have gone down right away. I am afraid that the Earth. No, the solar system would be gone. Vados smiled slightly, but it's okay. Now your control of the power of angels is much better than 3 years ago, Vados said, the scepter in his hand bloomed with flames, hitting Leping's body as well. Transform his body first, then resurrect him later. Vados comforted Ruosi. I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it, Ruosi pouted, sullen. Ruosi, don't blame yourself. Vados smiled. 5 minutes later. Well, now his body has a strength that is not much different from that of the android number 18, and it is also a type that never consumes energy. Vados is smiling, but after a month, when will his body recover and resurrect him? Asked Ruosi. Let's talk with Roger. Vados waved at Leping's corpse. Leping's corpse was suspended. Vados and Ruosi took Leping and quickly went in the direction of Roger. When Vados was transforming Leping, Roger appeared in the sky above the cars of the 3 androids. You are so leisurely. Forget it, whatever you want. Roger turned into a colorful flame, swept across the car quickly, and directly brought out the number 18 in the car, and rushed into the sky. 18th, I felt that Joe's situation was a little wrong. Why did I blink around in a hurry, and I flew into the sky? A little confused. Who seems to hug me? 18 turned his head and glanced at the man who was holding him. 18 doesn't know Roger, because Roger is not a warrior and has never participated in the battle on Earth. So Dr. Gru didn't enter Roger's file into these androids. Who are you? Number 18 turned to Roger with a dark face. Hello, my name is Roger. Roger greeted with a smile. I care what your name is. Your hands can really let go. Number 18's face turned even darker, and there was a hint of slaughter in his eyes. Thank you for your praise. Roger nodded. It's okay not to say on the 18th. When she said that, Roger felt a little bit, but wasn't his 527 hand placed in the position. When Roger was holding number 18, he just put his hand on her chest, but it seems that this is the only place to be clear. Where else should you put it? Humph. No more nonsense on the 18th. Put your hand on Roger's mouth, please don't touch me. Roger said. 18th, without the slightest hesitation, a huge mass of energy was released directly, covering Roger with an earth-shattering loud noise, and the white clouds in the sky were shattered. Like no one else, he smiled and said number 18. 18 was stunned. This guy is so powerful. It's safe and sound. 18 is convinced that although the energy he just released will not kill the opponent, at least it should be able to cause serious injury to the opponent, right? As a result, this person seems to be fine. It is said that you are the most beautiful woman in the world. When I saw you today, you are indeed very attractive. Roger looked at number 18 and said with a smile. The most beautiful woman in the world. 18 wiped sweat. Am I that good looking? You don't have to be so hostile. I brought you out to save you. If you don't know what's good or bad, and I'll spank your ass. Roger thought about it and came up with a plan to punish number 18. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 114 confused number 18. 8 feet's face is darker. However, number 18 knew that this man named Roger was very powerful, so he decided to take a look at the situation first, and then you said Are you trying to save me? How to say? Number 18 asked Roger's scepter, and the image of Sharu suddenly appeared. At this time, Sharu is absorbing the human body wantonly, so as to strengthen himself and increase his strength. Just this image released by Roger, it is Sharu using his tail to absorb a beautiful woman. It turned into a human skin, and then the human skin disappeared quickly, leaving a good set of clothes on the ground. Who is this monster? Number 18 shivered with fright because the woman who was absorbed by Sharu looked just like herself. His name is Shalu, and he is also an artificial human made by Dr. Gro, but his body is not complete. As long as he absorbs you in number 17, he will complete a complete body and become very powerful. What did Roger simply say? He is also an artificial human. Look at number 18 feet's face slightly discolored. He is now absorbing human beings to continuously strengthen himself. Roger pointed to Shalu in the projection. Wait until his strength after surpassing you in the 17th, he will absorb your 18th and stop talking. 18 can see that this monster is very powerful. Also, it looks disgusting. Do you really want to absorb yourself and the 17th? If that's the case, I'd rather blow myself up, and I won't be absorbed by such a disgusting monster. Number 18 is thinking, what should I do next? Or, try to kill Sharu before she grows stronger. Just as he was thinking like this on the 18th, a colorful flame came quickly in the distance. Roger saw the lifeless Lepping at a glance. It's upside down the child. How did you die? Roger asked. It's just changing his physique. There's no need to kill people, right? Yes. Ruosi wanted to say that she accidentally killed Kiki. It would be better to kill him. Vados hurriedly inserted -1 silly sister, why are you so real? Whatever. Roger looked at Lepping with a look of nothing, so, his body has been successfully transformed. Well, almost resurrected. Vados nodded. Let's start then. Roger smiled. Vados threw Lepping away. Suddenly, Lepping came into a free fall. At the same time, the flames bloomed on Vados' scepter, and an invisible divine power also fell on Lepping's body. 18 feet's pretty face, and she looked at Vados with a complicated look, and then looked at Roger and Ruosi. Who were they? There is information about Lepping in the database on the 18th. 18 could see that Lepping had indeed died just now. Although number 18 had no detection radar in his body, he still didn't die. All she knew was that it was just such a dead person. It's amazing to open your eyes and live. What on earth is it? Inside the slow-moving car below. There seemed to be a gust of wind blowing just now. Number 17 smiled and said, have you felt the warmth of the spring breeze? Number 16, number 18. Release the 3 autumn leaves, and the February flowers can bloom. 1,000 feet of waves across the river, 10,000 poles slanting into the bamboo. Number 17 recited poetry while driving. Dr. Gross is dead, and he has had a very leisurely life. Number 16, when we destroy Sun Wukong, what are your plans? Number 16. 8th was blown away by the strong wind. Are you still here to recite poetry? Your heart is big enough. However, number 16 was too surprised. What happened to the competition? 16 only felt a gust of wind passing by, and then, number 18 just disappeared. Number 6 felt a storm in his heart. Just when number 16 was shocked, suddenly there was a loud noise from the top of the car. Number 17 was startled and slammed the brakes hard. The car left a long mark on the road, and then it was torn apart. The parts crashed and Lepping's body penetrated the car and hit the ground, leaving a pit on the ground. The next moment, the android number 16, number 17 and Lepping got up from the ground respectively. Number 18, what are you doing? No. 17 looked at the destroyed car, stepped forward and grabbed Lepping's collar. Number 18. Lepping Yijian was perplexed, isn't it May 12th today? Also, who are you? Lepping doesn't know number 17 at all. According to the agreement, only humanoid and Shalu see Lepping as number 18, and the rest will still regard him as number 18 of Lepping. What happened just now? Number 16 also felt that something was not right, asked Lepping and looked at number 16 blankly. Who are you? Where am I? Am I not at home? Why did you come here in a flash? What are you doing? By the way, am I dead? Lepping suddenly remembered that he was still arranging numbers on the ground. The result was lined up, and the soul ran back. Then, after waking up, inexplicably fell from the sky, smashed a car, and saw 2 strange guys. Lepping rubbed his head, and also thought of Vados and Ruosi. Am I not dreaming? I seem to have been kicked to death by that woman. Lepping scratched his head. Impossible, ha ha ha, how is it possible? I am the most powerful man on earth. How could I be kicked to death? Hello, number 18, what are you doing? The 17th thinks the 18th is a bit abnormal. The 18th. Lepping pointed to his nose. My name is number 18. It's wired. Silly girl, isn't it amnesia? Number 17 shook his head. It just makes me wonder, how did you get to the sky? Lost King Li's memory. Leping is even more confused. Then, a light flashed in Leping's mind. I am me, I'm not going through. I transmigrated to a person named number 18. Such a strange name. Leping quickly found a mirror and looked at it carefully. Same as before, still so handsome. Could it be that the person I passed through was the same as my previous life? Well, maybe it's possible. I suddenly found that I seemed to have become stronger. Leping was immediately overjoyed. Leping could sense that his body had become 100 times stronger than before. No, it's 1,000 times more. No, this is 100 million times stronger than before. I'm out of shit. Leping is so excited. Seeing Leping's face for a while of confusion, excitement, and shock, Roger held back his laughter, shook his head, and sighed slightly. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 115 Ruo-C, you almost killed number 17. Are you so suitable, said Roger to Vados. Doesn't he want to be the strongest Earthman? Just let him be for a while. Vados replied indifferently, hello, what's going on? Why do number 17 and number 16 call that man number 18? Number 18 is shocked and clearly a man. Why? 17, number 16, are you too blind? Roger glanced at number 18 and said nothing. It's too laborious to explain, so let number 18 ponder on his own. Let's go and have a look here, or go back. Vados asked with a smile. Right province is also good. Roger smiled. Okay. Vados nodded. What catches your eyes? Why don't you go back and have something to eat? The car was destroyed, and there were very few vehicles on this road. Number 17 flew up, looked around and found a new car, and glared at Leping. Can he fly? Are there powerful guys in this world too? Leping was stunned. By the way, I don't know if my dry gas bomb is useful in this world. Leping tries to condense dry air. Energy bullets condensed out of Leping's hands. 7 and number 16 were confused. They turned to La567 and number 18 was abnormal. What are you going to do with this concentrated energy? Great, it works. Leping was very excited, looked at number 17 and number 16, and wondered if they should be destroyed. But thinking about it carefully, it seems that he has passed through. These two people are his partners, right? Leping waited for a moment, and then took back the dry air bomb. Women, sometimes it's not normal. Number 17 sighed and breathed a sigh of relief. As soon as number 17 feet's voice fell, it was crushed by an invisible pressure on the asphalt road, and when it got into the ground, the number 1 spewed a mouthful of blood, and was heavily afflicted. Suddenly startled, increased vigilance. 16 is also looking around quickly, ready to fight. Only Leping is still looking around at a loss. Ahem. Ruo-C, be careful, you almost killed number 17 too. Vados said with a wry smile, who asked him to say that our women are not normal. Ruo-C Ruo-C, you made number 17 like this, he must be very scared, right? Then how can you seek revenge from Monkey King and say that you are not allowed to interfere with them, but you violated it at the beginning of the game, BFF, I still don't play. Roger looked at Ruo-C angrily. I am not intentional, Jose. I have to be clear, you used coercion on number 17, and number 17 almost died. Roger said it's okay to go back in time, Vados sighed. Turning back time so quickly. So sad. But Vados can't do it either. Who told Ruo-C to pressure others to play on the 17th? If you crush the chess pieces, what chess will Vados use next to start the time back, and the time and space are also distorted and returned to 30 seconds ago. It's great, it can be used. Leping was so excited that he took the dry air bomb back to the woman, which is often abnormal. Number 17 sighed. The picture below is so familiar. I was stunned for a moment, completely stunned. These 3 people. No, these 3 are definitely not people, they are gods. Just out of thin air can almost wipe out number 17. You know, number 17 is the most powerful android. As a result, no one took the initiative. Moreover, this woman can also change time and space. Straight up. Does God really exist in this world? On the 18th, I decided to observe carefully. It is better to keep silent at this time. If I anger these 3 people, I will be killed and silenced, right? It takes about 10 minutes to fly east from here to reach the home of Monkey King. Number 16 suddenly said, "Oh. Number 16, do you know the residence of Sun Wukong's family?" Number 17 stared. "You didn't ask me." Number 16 smiled. "Then let's go." The 17th took to the sky. 16 firewood followed. "Hello, what are you doing?" Leping understands this time. Are these 2 going to find Sun Wukong? Of course, find Sun Wukong and kill him. On the 17th, Leping glanced at this woman. She fell from the sky and smashed the car. It's not normal. Why? Leping was stunned for a moment. Did you really lose your memory? Number 17 looked at Leping a little weirdly, but didn't think much about it. Did you forget that it was Sun Wukong who killed the Red Ribbon Army? Dr. Gero made us so that we can kill Sun Wukong, although we have betrayed Gerobo, but Sun Wukong is the most powerful in this world, right? Wouldn't it be more fulfilling to kill him? Leping felt that his brain couldn't keep up with the rhythm. Red Ribbon Corps. Leping had heard of this. Are these 2 guys related to the Red Ribbon Legion? Are you going to kill Goku? Could it be that I didn't cross? I just got stronger. But why did they call me number 18? Leping's brain is a little confused. Never mind, isn't my goal to defeat Goku? Find Wukong first, then hang and beat him, and then I will hang and beat these 2 people again. Ha 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 ha, I have a great sense of accomplishment. Leping quickly figured out his plan. Also, Dad, why is he 18 and not 18? Isn't it just a name? However, why does this person say that women are abnormal? I'm a man, okay. Great, let him do it. Haha, I remembered, let's go. Leping nodded, and actually ran to the front to lead the way on the 17th and the 16th. 18, hello positive. Man flying in the sky. Roger and the others watched silently above the clouds. 10 minutes. The 3 of Leping appeared in the sky above Sun Wukong's house. This is Wukong's home. After all, I will challenge him first, so don't interfere. Leping said excitedly, it seems that he can defeat Wukong. I'm really a protagonist blessed by God. Up to you. No objection on the 17th. 16 was also silent, teasing the 3 birds that fell from their shoulders and fell from the sky, landing at the gate of the courtyard of Wukong's house. Hey, Goku, come out for me. After Leping shouted loudly, Chi-Chi, Sun Wukong's wife, came out of the room with a kitchen knife. Are you Leping? You know me. Leping's expression froze, and he was immediately excited to see, no one forgot me. Leping looked at number 17 and number 16 again. Take a good look, I'm Leping, not the 18th as you said. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 116 Heavenly God, someone is setting up. What's the situation? Number 17 was at a loss. 6 is also confused and shook his head. 18th is Leping. 2 people have a headache. By the way, what about Goku? Leping asked. What makes Leping a little strange is that since his energy has been greatly improved, his ability to sense has weakened and he can hardly sense Sun Wukong's loyalty. Forget it, anyway, I must have become stronger. Goku and Gohan go hunting. Chi-Chi answered and looked up at the sky. At this time, I should be back to the west about 6 kilometers away from here. I sensed 2 breaths, it should be Sun Wukong. Number 16 said, took a deep look happy. Is it Leping or size 18? There's no way for these 2 to connect. One is a man and the other is a woman. Number 17 is also complex. On the 18th, she said she was Leping. Oh, this woman is out of her mind. Shouldn't it be the time to start? The brain is burned out. It's just, why does Sun Wukong's wife think she is Leping? Good brain cells. Then let's go. Number 17 flew into the sky with a black face, and decided to leave number 18 with her. Love who? Leping and number 16 followed. In the depths of a big mountain, the three saw Sun Wukong and Sun Wufan Leping, who were hunting, falling from the sky and landed in front of Sun Wukong. Leping, how did you come? Sun Wukong asked excitedly. Then, Sun Wukong went to the androids number 17 and number 18 next to Leping. Hee, I am not Leping, I am number 18. Leping smiles. Number 18. Sun Wukong is confused. 17 is confused. 6 is also confused. Who are you so special? Why do you admit that you are 18 again? I'm here, not for anything else, I'm here to challenge you. Leping put his hands on his hips and smiled at Sun Wukong to his right. Leping, are you all right? You said you were going to challenge me. Why is Sun Wukong looking at Leping in disbelief? You just say whether you dare. Leping's face showed endless fighting intent. Okay Leping, let's try it now. Sun Wukong nodded, and Wukong really didn't understand. Did Leping run out of his head to challenge himself? Also, he seems to have never met his two companions. Sun Gohan is excitedly looking at his father, and his expression is full of expectations. Sun Gohan is a little puzzled. Uncle Leping, where did your confidence come from? You actually want to challenge my father? Okay, come on. Leping, let's get started. Sun Wukong's body burst out with a powerful breath. Of course, Sun Wukong just burst out a little bit. In Sun Wukong's view, this breath is enough to defeat Leping. Oh, Wukong, don't you turn into a Super Saiyan. Leping was stunned for a moment, and there was Sun Wukong who asked, how dare you look down on my strongest earthling? I'll see how I hang you later. Leping was very upset. Ha, no need, Leping. Sun Wukong smiled. Well, then I'm welcome, Goku. Leping pays a smile, and Leping quickly appeared behind Sun Wukong. The speed was so fast that Sun Wukong's pupils shrank suddenly, and the color changed slightly. Leping bombarded the school where his father, Sun Wukong's back was located, and Sun Wukong quickly dodged. Bang bang bang. Leping launched a violent attack on Sun Washi. Sun Wukong only has the embarrassing parry left. In the next second, Sun Wukong was knocked to the ground by Leping. After Leping's body has been transformed by Vados, he has the strength to be beautiful with number 18, so it is very easy to defeat the Monkey King of this period. Impressive. Leping. Sun Washi stood up from the ground, wiped the blood from the corners of his mouth, and there was a surprise on the horizon. I didn't expect you, Leping, you have become so powerful, I'm really getting more and more excited. Now, you can become a superhero. Saiyan, right? Leping smiled lightly, and Sun Wukong no longer hesitated at all, with golden light blooming all over his body, his hair standing high, and he became a Super Saiyan. Skyline. The gods silently looked at Sun Wukong, Leping, and the two androids below, and the danger was not very good looking. I beg flowers, 0 eyes, God, you called me over, what are you going to do? I have nothing to talk about with you. Vic's face was dark and unhappy. Piccolo, I heard the great elder of Namek say that if the two of us re-assimilate, we will definitely surpass Super Saiyans and become the most powerful warriors on this earth. There was a smile on the face of the god, and his expression became firm. Oh, you called me up just to tell me this. Piccolo looked at the gods with a little surprise. In fact, there is one thing that has made me uneasy all these years. Heavenly God said in a deep voice, Piccolo Wei. You may not believe it. Heavenly God sighed. I guess, someone is planning. This person is a very powerful god. The god position is far beyond me. I am afraid that it is higher than that of the Realm King. What is he planning? Vic asked incredulously. In his eyes, we are just a pawn. Heavenly smiled. Oh, then tell me, who is the person you are talking about? Vic asked with interest. Roger. God said solemnly. Roger. You mean that little lover of Bulma? Piccolo looked at the god with some surprise. Don't be kidding, you say he's a god. Is the god position higher than the Realm King? Humph, you're so old, God. I know you won't believe me when I say it. Tien Shen looked indifferent, but, you know what? There is a powerful monster that has been born. And the birth of this monster, I deduce that there is a great possibility that it has something to do with Roger. Oh, what monster? Piccolo came interested. Piccolo doesn't think there's anything wrong with Roger. Just a little white face. Eating and drinking at Bulma's house all day. God said that Roger is a god. And still a very high god. Piccolo wants to laugh out loud. This monster is wanton killing human beings on Earth, and there are already more than 20,000 human beings who have died. The god of heaven clenched his teeth and clenched his head, his body trembling. What? Vic frowned. Besides this monster, 3 mysterious guys were born. There was not the slightest aura on them. Heaven said in a deep voice. 8. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 117 God suspects me. At this time, Sun Wukong happened to become a Super Saiyan. Is it the breath of Sun Wukong? What is he doing? Vic turned his head and looked down. Of course, Vic can't see it now. Sun Wukong is discussing with Leping. The god of heaven's face is ugly again. Old guy, what are you talking about? Say it again, I can't keep up with your rhythm. Vic's ears stand up. You want to say that Monkey King and Vegeta are fighting each other, I believe. You said that Sun Wukong is learning from Leping, and because of this, he has become a Super Saiyan. I believe you are a bad old man. I don't believe it comes out. Heavenly God smiled. In an instant, Leping's strength has been greatly improved, at least hundreds of millions of times, and there is no slight fluctuation in his body. Don't you think it is strange? Piccolo's face moved. 99. What happened? Why does this happen? Therefore, even if Goku becomes a Super Saiyan, it is still a little bit worse than the current Leping. Heaven looked at the battle below, and his expression became more and more complicated. Why is this? Vic's expression was not very calm, so why did he grow to such a height? I've always wanted to ask this question, why is this happening? God said with a smirk, are you trying to tell me that Roger did all this? Does he have the ability to make people stronger? Beck asked. I don't know if he has the ability to make people stronger, but Leping will become what he is now, and there is a high possibility that it has something to do with Roger. The god said solemnly. So, you called me up, Piccolo asked again. The Earth does not need gods, the Earth needs more powerful warriors. Warriors powerful enough to surpass Super Saiyans. Powerful enough to change destiny, a destiny that cannot be manipulated at will. God has made up his mind. God, Mr. is a little reluctant on the side. It's time for Tenjin and Piccolo to re-assimilate. Heavenly God smiled and looked at Piccolo with deep affection. I will provide you with energy and energy. We can't delay any longer. At present, there are many people on Earth that monsters have killed and absorbed. Piccolo nodded slightly. Step forward. Put your hand on my chest. Tenshin Dao. Piccolo didn't hesitate and stretched out his hand. Sir, thank you for taking care of you all these years. God smiles. A powerful energy burst out of the gods. Immediately afterwards, the god of the sky turned into a white on, and suddenly fell into Piccolo's big hands. Piccolo was half knelt on the ground, gasping for breath. Assimilation succeeded. Piccolo stood up slowly, glanced at the god of the earth below. Mr. looked reluctant. I'm neither a god nor Piccolo, I'm a Namekian whose name has been forgotten. Vic smiled at Mr., waved his hand, and flew up. Piccolo turned into a white on and flew in the direction of Sharu. Vegeta was nibbling on Dad's beast's thigh in the forest. The next moment, Vegeta swooned in response to the powerful breath of Sun Wukong, and rose up in a distant position. Is this the breath of Kakarot? Has he turned into a Super Saiyan? Who is he fighting? Or do you have nothing to do with being a Super Saiyan? Vegeta was slightly taken aback. A brief sync. Speaking of which, after 3 years of cultivation, I should be able to easily beat Kakarot. Vegeta smiled confidently. Yes, today I will go to Kakarot to have a good time. Vegeta soared into the sky. Overseas Island. Bardock turned his head in the direction of Sun Wukong. Kakarot turned into a Super Saiyan. On the other side, there was no aura reaction at all, maybe he was cultivating. If Bardock has something. Dad, after my hard training, my combat power is now 100,000, right? I should be able to defeat that kid Kakarot. Raditz's risk is full of confidence. Bardock slaps Raditz away with a slap. Forget it, forget about Kakarot. Bardock said to himself, it's more appropriate to find a way to make Rabangs become a Super Saiyan. With 100,000 combat power, it is said that he can become a Super Saiyan. What is the problem? Woolen cloth. Why can't he transform when he is angry? Bardock feels remorse over Raditz's transformation issue above the sky. God and Piccolo assimilated. Roger suddenly sensed that Piccolo's breath was not the same as before. Through the scepter, he had the right. Only then did he realize that the two had assimilated. Then, Roger carefully watched the playback of the video. What the Godbic said just now was also clearly heard by Roger. Roger's face darkened and he looked towards Vados. See what I do? Vados is a little guilty. How could the gods doubt me? I'm in cloth weak, asked Roger, looking at Vados. It must be Roger, there are traces of what you usually do, right? Vados smiled, besides, he suspects nothing about you, and what he said is right. It's just that it seems a bit inappropriate to compare our angels with the level of gods of the Realm King. Rogershin take a deep look at Vados. I always feel that I am suspected by the gods, and it seems that it is a ghost made by Vados. Although it is not a big deal to be suspected by the gods. However, if Vados is involved, the game will not be so smooth this time. Roger thought about it carefully, and Yingfa felt that the whole thing was not that simple. Weiss lost his scepter. Myers loses power. Zoe was wronged. As the elder sister of Wes and Myers and Rose, will Vados really be indifferent? Why did Vados wait 3 years before coming over? God just mentioned that 56 people are planning. At least Roger has no layout. Roger was trained in the human world. Roger knew that although the god of the gods was relatively low, the sixth sense of this guy was still very accurate. So, who is planning? However, if Roger is asked to investigate now, it will not be easy to investigate for a while. There are no clues to prove it. Vados laid out Vados as early as 3 years ago. In the past 2 years, I have studied a new skills. Roger said to Vados, let me and Ruosi take a look. Vados smiled slightly. Recently, Ruosi is also learning some skills as an angel. In fact, there are still a lot of things to learn. My skill is called Burst Clothes. Roger said. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 118 Vados, look at my new skills. Burst. Thousands of what use. Rose is also looking forward to it. It's a good thing that Roger can actively share his skills with himself. Ruosi suddenly felt that Roger also has a cute side. Burst. Is the clothes bursting with a powerful momentum? Or, the power of an angel burst out? Vados guesses that I'm here to demonstrate the demo. Roger proposed. Okay. Vados nods. After a while, I will be offended, and I hope you don't get angry. Roger said, demonstrating skills. Why should I be angry? Vados smiled at me being a very optimistic angel. What is there to be angry about? The scepter in Roger's hand was aimed at Vados, and when he drank a word at the top, Vados' clothes burst. Angel God Pei Wa became. Fragments danced in the air. The blue body of Vados was presented in front of Roger without reservation. Vados. Vados responded very quickly, and immediately used the Scepter 15 to restore the angel god to its original appearance and cover him. The next moment, Vados looked at Roger angrily. Don't get angry. Roger pretended to be nothing. Let you be the same. Your layout, I will explode your god outfit. Vados can't laugh or cry. Vados has lived for thousands of years, and he has never seen such a shameless and despicable angel. You actually burst my angel costume. Of course, Vados never imagined that his own angel costume would actually make him blow up. This god costume was brought by an angel, and it was Roger formed by the divine power of the angel tree. The explosion of clothes is only to temporarily disperse the gods, and it will not damage the gods and gods. As for letting Roger see it, all right, go right when you see it. An angel who has lived for thousands of years, Vados really doesn't care about these, at least in Vado's view, Roger is just a child. I am an optimistic and positive angel. Ruo-C was so angry that her nose was crooked, and she stared at Roger through grinding her teeth. Roger gave Ruo-C a soft drink. Ruo-C was frightened and quickly covered her body with her hands. Then, Ruo-C hurriedly checked her body. The clothes seemed to be fine. Ruo-C looked at Roger suspiciously. Vados covered his face. Silly sister, are you enough to want Roger to dress you up? Why are you still showing a trace of disappointment? Just kidding. Roger laughed. I fight with you. Ruo-C rushed up with her claws, and took a bite on Roger's shoulder. Although Ruo-C had 2 front teeth broken, she felt much better. Number 8 was confused. What are you playing? Why can't I understand Mao at all? Ruo-C clenched her palms and glared at Roger. Ruo-C looked at it, and suddenly saw the scepter in the hand of the 18th Ruo-C, who was in a daze. Suddenly, the clothes on number 18. It exploded, leaving nothing behind. Wow, are you satisfied now? Ruo-C is so happy that number 8 is about to cry. I didn't say anything. Roger first silently glanced at number 18's body for several times, and then used the scepter to conjure up a new set of clothes for her. 18's face is even darker. Are you straight, God? So ugly. Can you do something right? Let's go to Bulma's house, drink tea, and wait for the end of the game, said Roger. Vados nodded while covering his face, without objection. On the way back to Bulma's house. Sister Vados, how was my burst of clothes just now? Ruo-C's voice transmission asked if it's okay. Vados doesn't want to hit Ruo-C. What Roger exploded was my clothes, but what I have on me is an angel god. What you exploded is the clothes of a human being. Can it be the same? Vados was tired and obviously didn't want to tangle on this issue, so he suddenly accelerated the speed of the flight. Hey, Sister Vados, wait for me. Ruo-C chased after Ruo-C to see that there was no one around, only herself and her sister, number 18 and Roger. With a grin, she pointed at Bulma with the scepter in her hand. Bulma's clothes exploded at the time. Bulma was stunned. What about my clothes? Vados. What are you going to do? Miss Bulma entertained you, are you embarrassed? Vados sighed and quickly changed Bulma's body into new clothes. Roger, are you angels so bored all day? Bulma asked with a wry smile. I'm a very weak girl, if she accidentally kills me. What should I do? Don't worry, even if you really die, I can bring you back to life. Ruo-C smiled at Bulma 18. 18 is really amazing. Is this woman telling the truth? Can the dead be resurrected? Real or fake? You are not lying, are you? Bulma can't believe it. Although Sun Wukong has become a Super Saiyan, there is still a little gap compared with Leping, who is comparable in strength to number 18. Moreover, as the battle continued, Sun Wukong's energy was a bit consumed by 553. On the contrary, Leping had eternal energy. I suddenly discovered that my energy is inexhaustible. It seems that God still favors me and I am the protagonist. Leping interjected and laughed, not to mention how excited Sun Wukong was. Wukong, are you still fighting? You don't seem to be my opponent. Leping looked at Sun Wukong with a smile. That's amazing, Leping, how did you cultivate? Why doesn't the energy drop? Sun Wukong looked at Leping and asked. After Sun Wukong's words fell, the golden light all over his body collapsed at once. I lost, Leping. Sun Wukong smiled and took the initiative to admit defeat. It's not a life and death contest. Sun Wukong feels that there is no need to fight a life and death little Wukong. He already knows that Leping is very powerful, and he is also excited about it. Leping, I will surpass you. Ha, I finally beat you. Leping laughed wildly and Sun Wukong scratched his head. Gohan lowered his head, shocked in his heart. How is that possible? Dad lost to Lepping Monkey King. Your level is too bad, you can't even beat number 18. Number 17 smiled contemptuously and turned to look at number 16. Number 16, do you want to kill him now? But his strength is so bad, I can't do it. I come. The dangerous color of the 16th has become gloomy and cold. You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 119 Number 16, Goodbye. Sun Wukong. Hello. Thousand what? Do you want to kill Goku? Leping was slightly startled, and asked number 16. Wrong, I was created because of Sun Wukong, so Sun Wukong must die today. Number 16 said Big Man, I won't allow you to kill Wukong. Leping just wants to defeat Sun Wukong, naturally he won't kill him. Now seeing that number 16 was going to kill Wukong, he was unhappy at that time. Number 6 glanced at Leping lightly, and disappeared in place with a flicker of his figure. The next moment, number 16 swept past Leping, punching heavily, directly bombarding Sun Wukong's abdomen, and Sun Wukong fell softly to the ground at that time. At the same time, Sun Wukong is also shocked to save number 16. This man is so powerful. Bye now, Sun Wukong. Number 16 put his hand on Sun Wukong's head. Sun Wukong didn't dodge or transform, he just looked at number 16's father so calmly. Sun Gohan was shocked. Wukong. Leping was also horrified, and said angrily, Number 16, stop me. The corners of his eyes moved slightly. 16 is quite fast. Could it be that he is stronger than me? Number 17 pondered. Impossible, I am the most powerful android, I must be thinking too much. Bang! Shot on the 16th. With a loud noise, the energy flame in number 16's hand raised the position of Sun Wukong to the ground in one fell swoop. Wukong! Leping shouted loudly. Dad! Sun Gohan is also very surprised. 18th, what are you doing? Number 17 really doesn't understand number 18. I always feel that he has a dual personality, is he schizophrenic? Do not understand. Completely incomprehensible. The smoke dissipated little by little. The figure of Sun Wukong also emerged. Sun Wukong, I don't want to see you again. Number 16 bared his teeth and said coldly, you can do it yourself. 16 didn't kill Sun Wukong with a ruthless hand, and he really couldn't do it. Killing a Sun Wukong who is a lot weaker than himself, number 16 will make his conscience uneasy. Monkey King, you are too bad, you can't even beat number 16 and number 18, let alone me. 17 smiled. I hope you will cultivate well in the future, and come to us to discuss with you when your strength improves. Life is so boring. The most capable person in the universe is just that. It seems that we will be bored in the future, but Leping is thinking, would you like to take a photo as a souvenir? This is to commemorate the day when I defeated Sun Wukong. Let's go, the 17th said, flying into the sky. 16 didn't talk nonsense, and Leping hesitated after following number 17, and followed. It seems that following these two guys is quite interesting. It's better than being a boring cultivator alone in the wilderness, right? Hey, where are we going now? Leping asked. Sometimes I'm invincible, and I'm very distressed. Number 17 smiled. Just take one step at a time, just walk around, if you can't, find a home and settle down first. In a small town in the east. Charu is holding a big fat man, walking on this lifeless street. Everyone in the town was absorbed by Charu. This fat man is the most human being in town. Fatty was hiding in the safe, and Piccolo, who was finally found after assimilating with the gods, fell from the sky and landed on the opposite side of Charu to save me. Hurry up and save me. I have a lot of money. I give you all my money. Fatty struggled in Charu's hands and saw Piccolo, as if he saw a straw. Maybe you don't understand me, let him go. Vic looked gloomy. Charu smiled lightly and threw the fat man on the ground. The fat man trembled with fright, and hurriedly used his milk strength to crawl in the direction of Piccolo to use the tail behind Charu, and the end of the tail slammed into the fat man's back. Ming! Fatty snorted coldly. Goo, goo. Sharu began to absorb the life essence of the fat man. Piccolo's eyes widened. Soon, under Piccolo's gaze, the fat man turned into a human skin followed by J, and the human skin was also absorbed into the body by the sand. On the scene, only an expensive suit was left. Piccolo can't say anything. It's your turn next. Big Demon King Piccolo. Sharu was all smiles. What? Vic's face changed color. He knows me. Boom. Sharu's breath burst out. Piccolo was taken aback. Vic never thought that Sharu's breath was so powerful. Sharu preempted and punched Piccolo in the face with a heavy punch. Immediately, Piccolo's body flew backwards and flew out. But that's it. Sharu chuckled. Monster, don't you feel a little complacent? Piccolo smiled coldly and wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth. But I'm not the king of Piccolo, I'm the Namekian after Piccolo assimilated with the gods. Boom. After the voice fell, Piccolo frantically burst out with a powerful and vast breath of energy, and a gust of wind blew up in this small town. After Sharu sensed Piccolo's powerful aura, his face became extremely shocked. How could Chi-Si be so powerful? Vegeta, who was flying in the direction of Bowsy Mountain, stopped in midair. What's the situation? There are 2 auras over there. Who are they? Why are they so powerful? Especially the aura. Vegeta looked stunned. Is that guy Broly here? No, Zhao Qianhao, it's Broly. Broly is stronger than his breath by 1. Vegeta muttered to himself in midair, muttering in a low voice. No, I have to go check it out. Vegeta said, golden light blooming all over her body, turned into a Super Saiyan, and flew away in the direction of Piccolo and Sharu. Bao Zishan. Sun Wukong and Sun Wufan also looked into the distance at the same time. What a powerful breath. One of them is very evil. Sun Wukong's face is not very good looking. Sun Gohan didn't speak. Cold sweat fell on his face. Gohan, go home quickly. Dad, go take a look over there. Sun Wukong ordered it to be my father. Sun Wuhan felt that there was danger. Don't worry, Gohan, father will be fine. Father is a Super Saiyan, and he will come back when he feels that the situation is not good. Sun Wukong comforts gang. Sun Wufan hesitated. He wanted to tell his father Pump, you were a Super Saiyan just now, didn't you get hanged by Lepping? You are a genius, remember in a second. Chapter 120 Conspiracy gradually surfaced. Sun Wukong no longer delays time and flew into the sky. Soon, Sun Wukong and Vegeta met in the sky. Be rolling. You also sense the strong aura over there? Sun Wukong asked in surprise. Do you call me Bei Gun Gun again? Vegeta is dangerously dark, ha ha ha. I'm used to it. Don't worry about it, I'm not malicious. Sun Wukong scratched his head and smirked. Vegeta was even more angry. Your innocent look makes me embarrassed. Vegeta simply stopped talking. Be rolling. Sun Wukong said 2 words, and seeing Vegeta's face was ugly, he quickly changed his words with a smile. Vegeta, I don't know what's going on, I always feel that something is wrong with that evil energy. Vegeta softly replied. Great, let's take a look. Sun Wukong shook his head. Eastern Town. The battle between Piccolo and Sharu has reached a fevered level. Piccolo was accidentally controlled by Sharu. Vic, the essence of your life is mine now. Sharu hugged Piccolo tightly from behind, and pierced Robok's long tail with his long tail. Piccolo was 833 shocked and hurriedly dodged. Sharu's tail stuck on Piccolo's arm. It's crooked, it doesn't matter, I can also absorb the essence of life in your body. Sharu smiled indifferently and began to absorb Piccolo's life essence. Feeling the rapid loss of life, Piccolo looked horrified, and slammed the back of his head heavily on Lu's nose. Shalu was in pain and let go of Piccolo. Piccolo took the opportunity to distance himself from Shazung and glanced at his withered left arm. He, Piccolo, you seem to have a broken arm, and the form is not good for you. Sharu chuckled and Piccolo was silent for a while. Yes, I am indeed not your opponent. Unfortunately, I lost to you in this contest. Vic said in a deep voice that since he voluntarily conceded defeat, let me absorb you. Don't worry, I won't let you suffer in the slightest. Sharu smiled. Can I ask you a few questions before I get killed by you? Vic took a deep look at Piccolo. After a short silence, he nodded in agreement. First question, who are you? How did you appear? Piccolo asked. What? Don't want to say it. Piccolo didn't give Shalu a chance to think too much. It's okay to tell you, it's no big deal. Sharu smiled faintly. My name is Sharu, I'm a computer-made android made by Dr. Jero. You know that's enough. As for what an android is. You used to be a god, don't tell me, you don't even know that I have seen them in the heavens. They should be the artificial humans you said, they are very powerful. Vic nodded lightly, he also knows a little about the androids. Where are they? Sharu was overjoyed and asked the second question, why do you want to absorb humans? Vic didn't answer and asked again. My body is not yet complete. Only by absorbing the essence of human life will I become stronger. Lu glanced at Piccolo. The third question, do you want to absorb all the human beings on the earth? Vic asked that there is no need for that. Sharu shook his head, after I absorb two important characters, I can complete the complete body. They are the androids number 17 and number 18 made by Dr. Jero. The computer tells me that if I become a complete body, my energy, my intelligence, my speed, etc., will evolve to a very perfect level, and I can have the most powerful strength in the universe. As Sharu said, he couldn't help thinking of those two women who didn't know how they shot, so he flew out, you wait for Dad. When I Sharu become a complete body, I will BFAH, make you pay the price of blood. Piccolo didn't speak, and Quan in his heart rushed to the real intention of Sharu's words. Piccolo believed that if this monster really became a complete body, the consequences would be unimaginable. Fourth question. Vic continued. Enough. You have too many questions. Sharu is angry. Give you a face, you still ask questions. Last question. This is my last question. Vic said loudly. Sharu didn't say a word. Why do I sense Wukong's breath in you? And the smell of flea grass? Yes, and Vegeta and mine. Vic asked. A long time ago, Dr. Gro was researching androids. What kind of androids can defeat Sun Wukong? Shalu said lightly. Later, Dr. Gro decided to collect the cells of the warriors, and use these cells to contain a powerful artificial human. But this research was too time-consuming, and Dr. Gro handed it over to the computer to complete it. Accurately speaking, I should be born in 20 years, but someone injected me with a rapid growth agent, so that I am fortunate to be able to live in this era, and this era of androids 17 and 18. Sharu had a smile on his face. Who gave you the fast growth agent? Piccolo's heart sank. You've had enough questions, Piccolo, I know you're stalling for time, are you waiting for Beijipei and Sun Wukong to come over? Sharu chuckled, but it doesn't matter. The two of them are not my opponents, they just absorb the life essence of the two of them, so that my strength can be greatly improved. Did Roger give you the fast growth agent? Vic asked again. Roger. Who is it? I don't know, are you famous? Sharu was stunned for a while, and the bewildered Piccolo also frowned. Not Roger, who would that be? Forget it, forget it. Vic sneered, and ripped off the broken arm of his forearm, and it suddenly grew out. Piccolo shook his hand with a smile on his eyelids. Lu is dumbfounded. Can this be recycled? Unexpectedly, Sharu, although you have my cells in your body, you don't know that I will regenerate. Vic chuckled lightly, and the aura on his body also burst out madly. Cake. Be cheated. Sharu's face changes color. Turtle House. Krillin took to the sky. Teacher Wu Tian, there is a very powerful aura over there. Besides, there is also a very evil aura. What happened? Krillin said solemnly. The turtle immortal was lying on the reclining chair, holding a book in his hand, looking at it silently. His eyes have become Teacher Wu Tian, you are really enough, and you have such an unhealthy picture again. Krillin fell down, leaned over and turned right. Huh, what is this? The turtle fairy found a card made of pure gold from the illustration of the beauty picture. You are a genius, remember in a second.